Aarti, could you get in touch with Bhavan Kule, sir? Yeah.
I'm
Madam,
sending.
we are live.
I'm
Madam, we
sending.
are live.
Okay, sure. So a very good evening, everyone. And on behalf of Team YOSI and YOSI Socio-Cultural and BioTube, I welcome you all to this very interesting webinar. So let me start by sharing my screen. So I hope my screen is visible and yeah, so here we go. So we are celebrating the World Photography Day, which was on 19th of August. We have a very interesting lineup of events for you. So World Photography Day is celebrated on 19th of August. We had this webinar planned last month, which was 17th August, but in view of the ongoing protest in solidarity with those, we had postponed this event. And here we are today. So before we begin, let me start by introducing the team Young Ophthalmologist Society of India, the governing council, Dr. Devakan Misra being the president, Dr. Sonal Kalia as the immediate past president, Dr. Karan Bhatia as the vice president, Dr. Nilesh as a secretary, Dr. Aditya Sethi as a treasurer, and Dr. Prasanna as a joint secretary. And they're backed up by a very dynamic young executive team, which is pan-India, and a very, very dynamic executive team. And these are the various arms of YOSI, which, YOSI has grown over the last few years. Team YOSI Socio-Cultural and YOTube being one of them. And we have this webinar in collaboration with both the teams today. And I'm sure with the young dynamic team, more and more arms will be added to the future. So YOSI Socio-Cultural has conducted a plethora of activities over the last 2 years, as you can see on your screen. And so we basically this group takes care of the extracurricular aspects of the young ophthalmologists relating to ophthalmology in the form of reels, creativity contests, health and mindfulness, rangoli, art poems, photography, beyond, and much more. So we started with as a new team took over, our first webinar was last week, which was on the YOSI Eye Donation Fortnight webinar in collaboration with the Cornea Society of India and the Eye Bank Association of India. The webinar was an excellent collaboration with the YOSI Socio-Cultural, the Cornea Focus Group, and the team BioSlides. And we had a beautiful webinar with academic talks pertaining to eye banking, and also the young ophthalmologists presenting various creative entries with respect to eye donation. And we had last year, we had celebrated the World Photography Day with the IC Eye Everywhere contest season 1, wherein the young ophthalmologists had presented nature photography correlating to eye in any form. And we had a wonderful season 1. And this was also supplemented by Do It Yourself Photography in Ophthal Clinic by our eminent young ophthalmology speakers. And today we are having the season 2 of this contest, wherein we have expanded the armamentarium to include the foot photography, and how a young ophthalmologist can correlate it to the eye in different forms. And to supplement this, the BioTube team has come up with a beautiful webinar of talks of, various on how you can go about surgical recording for beginners. So let me start by introducing our chief guest for today. So we have Dr. Prashant Bavankule, sir. Sir needs no introduction. So sir is the chairman ARC, All India Ophthalmological Society, also the treasurer of the Ocular Trauma Society of India. He was a past treasurer of the VRSI, and he was also the past president of Maharashtra Ophthalmological Society. So has a lot of publications and awards to his credit. So thank you, sir, for joining us today. And our next chief guest is Dr. Devakan Misra, who's the current president YOSI. He's a director at Suvanjyoti Eye Hospital at Aliganj, Lucknow, and he heads the vitreoretina services over there. So thank you, Dr. Devakan, for joining us today. And now, then we are also joined by esteemed panel of judges and panelists who will be judging the contest. And also, they'll be panelists for the YOTube segment of the webinar. So first, we have Dr. Deepak Megur, sir. So he heads the cataract and glaucoma departments at Megur Eye Center in Bidar, Karnataka. He specializes in complex cataract surgeries, and he's passionate about teaching and sharing surgery skills through his YouTube channel and website, which is phacotraining.org. He has a lot of awards and recognitions to its credit, like the ASCRS 2003 Best Video Award, the late Dr. Nilima Falvade Lifetime Achievement Award in 2022, the CS Reshmi Award, to name a few. So thank you, Dr. Deepak, for joining us today. Then we have Dr. Saurabh Patwardhan, sir. He's a director at Nandadeep Eye Hospital and PG Institute. He heads the phaco training and fellowship program. He's also chief mentor Phaco Tip 3D course, and he's the professor at Nanda Deep PG Institute. He is a pioneer in live streaming of surgeries on YouTube and Facebook for education. He has more than 12 publications and more than 30 chapters in various book journals. He's also the inventor for the iToric Patwardhan, which is an Android-based phone-based toric marking, the hybrid chopper, the 3D surgical viewing system, and he runs his popular Phaco teaching YouTube channel and teaching website, which is www.phacotraining.org.in. And he's performed more than 50,000 surgeries and has a lot of awards and to his credit. He's also been an invited faculty at various national and international conferences. So these are his various online teaching platforms by Dr. Saurabh Patwardhan, sir. Then we are joined by Dr. Vishal Agarwal, sir, who is the Chairman Scientific Committee of the Rajasthan Ophthalmic Society. He's an alumnus of the Shankar Netralaya, Chennai, from where he's completed Vitreoretina Fellowship. He's the past secretary of Jaipur Ophthalmic Society. He's an ex-professor at the Department of Ophthalmology of SMS Medical College, Jaipur. I was very lucky to have been trained by sir during my PG. During my PG time. So he's a senior vitreoretina surgeon, and his main areas of interest are surgical retina, ROP, and macular interface disorders. He has presented numerous instruction courses, co-authored books, published in index journals, and performed live surgeries in national and international conferences. He's on the editorial board of Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. He's a principal investigator of more than 6 phase 3 FDA-approved multicentric trials on AMD, RDO, and uveitis. Currently, as I mentioned, he's a chairman scientific committee of Rajasthan Ophthalmic Society. He has a lot of awards to his credit, as the entire list is on the screen for you. Next, we are joined by Dr. Digvijay Singh, sir. So, sir is the director at Noble Eye Care, Gurugram. He's the HOD of Ophthalmology at Narayana Super Specialty Hospital, Gurugram, and HOD of Ophthalmology at Madhukar Rainbow Children's Hospital, New Delhi. So, sir has special interest in pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus, neuro-ophthalmology, and glaucoma. He has to his credit 20 awards, 75 publications, 20 book chapters, 1 book and 60 abstract and proceedings, and delivered over 100 lectures in 8 international, 16 national, and 24 state conferences. And also he has delivered a lot of lectures in the webinars. So he's a co-founder of a technology company, Kalpa Innovations, where he has developed the artificial intelligence tool for glaucoma diagnosis called the RIAG. Sir has been a great mentor for YOSI. He was the immediate past president of the previous team. And thank you, sir, so much for always your support and encouragement. And thank you for joining us today. So our next judge and panelist for today is our own Dr. Nilesh Kumar. He's a secretary of the Young Ophthalmologist Society of India. And he is an alumnus of the KMC Manipal, JNMC Belgaum, and Lotus Eye Hospital, Coimbatore. And he's trained in retina at LEH Coimbatore and DEH Patna. So he's a medical director at Madhvi Netralaya, Ara. He's the innovator of DIGS and Dix Pro, and his patent is pending. He has 12 national and state awards to his credit. He has had 90 plus peer-reviewed published articles, 100 plus papers, and invited lectures in various national and international conferences. He's a general secretary of YOSI. He's the executive editor of the iQuest. He's a chair of communication Retina Rocks, Retina World Congress. And he's a convener of TSTC at AIOC from 2021 till present. So welcome, Dr. Nilesh. And coming to the moderators for today's session. So this is me, Dr. Nupur. So I'm currently working as a consultant anterior segment and oculoplasty at Eye Care Eye Hospital, Noida. I was a past YOSI executive member. I'm the NOS Times editor, and I head the YOSI socio-cultural team. So our next moderator for today is Dr. Zain Khatib. So Dr. Zain is one of the YOSI executives, and he's also he's the team lead for the YOTube, which is the official YouTube channel of YOSI. So he's a consultant ophthalmologist at Khatib Eye Clinic and Perfect Vision Leisure Center in Mumbai. He's an expert in cataract surgery, LASIK, refractive surgery, and glaucoma. He's done his MBBS from SGH Medical College and KM Hospital, Mumbai, and his MS Ophthalmology from Karnataka Institute of Medical Sciences, Hubli. And he has his other degrees like DNB, FICO, MRCS, FAICO, in refractive surgery and FCP. So welcome, Dr. Zain, and thank you so much for helping coordinate and moderate this entire session. So with this, before we begin, if we have our chief guest, Dr. Prashant Bawankule, sir, or Dr. Divakant, we can... Hi, Dr. Prashant Bawankule, sir. So we would like to have a few words from you for this event. Yeah. So you're on mute. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nupur, for this invite and in fact to the whole YOSI team for having me together with you. It's always pleasant and it's like a privilege to be with young blood. It rubs into you the young energy. The way you were moderating the session, it really pumped me few more calories and few more energies, and I want to be as youthful and as energetic as all of you in the YOSI there. Be Thank you, Yossi. You are doing wonderful job. I would like to compliment on behalf of All India Ophthalmic Society that Yossi has really come up in a big way. And the type of the activities which you are doing, few of them are so good that we are trying to emulate them at our AIS front also. I have also sought help of Divakant and the Yossi team for developing and coming together with ARC AIS, where we will be having some soft skills courses for our postgraduates which are lacking. So this is on the front of collaboration which we are going to do with this young blood, from where we are learning a lot. Besides that, I will also compliment all the YOSI team for this wonderful initiative of photography contest. Yes, this photographies, postgraduates, and the young blood YOSI members who are listening to us, remember, the small contributions to the academics gives you a different type of a feeling and a sense of achievement. And so even small contributions of yours, small photographs and anything is going to tomorrow add up to the literature of this world which is available in ophthalmology. So do contribute, so do compete, and this will foster better science, better learning for each one of us. I wish all the contestants best of luck and request the moderators to go ahead. I'm right now at the airport about to board, so I would watch the whole event as far as possible. Thank you once more.
Thank you so much, sir, for those kind words. Your encouraging words mean a lot to us for Yossi. And thank you for always being so supportive and, means a lot. You saying that you're trying to emulate our initiatives. It means a lot to us. Thank you. And we look forward to collaborating with you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Once again. Yes. So with this, do we have Dr. Divakant? I think when he joins, we can take his comments that time. So with this, without further much ado, let us start the contest. So what I'll be doing is that, I'll be presenting my screen and whoever's entry is being presented, they can just unmute themselves and they can describe their entry in a minute and the judges can give them marks. So just for the judges and for the audience, the theme of our contest is ICI everywhere. So it's basically nature and food photography, how they have managed to correlate it with the eye in any form. So that is the concept of our contest today. And with this, I hope all our judges have the mark sheet with them. Dr. Saurabh, hi. I hope you have the mark sheet with you. Okay, so I think we'll just proceed. Nilesh, we'll be good to go. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with this, let me start my screen presentation once again, and I will go on to the, yeah. So with this, yeah, so our first presenter contestant for today is Dr. Aarti Heda. So Aarti needs no introduction. She has been a very dynamic member of the YOSI almost, since its inception. So she's an anterior segment surgeon based at Pune, and she's a national coordinator for the ISMICS. She's also the associate editor of the Global Journal of Cataract and Research in Ophthalmology since 2021. She's been an active member of the YOSI, and her areas of interest include cataract, glaucoma, cornea, and refractive surgery. So over to you, Aarti. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and just present your what you want to talk
Sure.
about.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Nupur, for organizing this and actually making us think that we can do something else other than ophthalmology. So this image was taken, this photograph was taken at the government hospital in a very remote place in Tanzania called as Ruangwa. So we had a very busy day in the theater and I did 20 very difficult surgeries and we were waiting for our cab. So the guy was taking a lot of time and he took nearly an hour. And meanwhile, we were just bored. So I started roaming around and found this thing. So So it's a visual metaphor portraying the landscape of a giant eye. Green grass here in the center forms the sclera, while the brick line on one side symbolizes the boundary. So on the opposite side, plants flourish, adding texture and life to this scene, much like they are just the eyelashes. So my friends and I positioned ourselves strategically to represent the pupil, bringing the scene to life as if we were focusing on this natural eye. So sunlight gently was streaming through the scene, casting rays that highlighted the and illuminate this eye. So I thought that it will be good sharing this with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aarti. That was really a beautiful depiction of the eye. So can we have a few comments from our judges? Dr. Vishal Agarwal, sir, if you're there, your thoughts on what Aarti's photograph was about? Okay. Nilesh, would you want to comment on, yeah. We can't hear you, Nilesh. I think you need to remove your headphones. We're unable to hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, now.
Okay. So, ma'am, a good backstory for the reality TV will be like you were too tired and you just fell off asleep on that, creating that cornea. But really nice image. It was actually with the bush around. It was like an eyelash on that upper eyelid. So really good photograph that was taken.
Thank you so much, Nilesh.
Digvijay, sir, your thoughts on Aarti's photo?
Yes, indeed. I think it was my marks should also tell, but it was indeed a very nice photograph, and I think kind of bang on the theme. When you almost died is amazing. It's really very nice.
We had few failed attempts. The pupil was going here and there, so we were just telling each other. So we made one of our friends stand and tell us that where should we center. So there was a lot of struggle in taking this picture as well.
The end result is what that counts. So great.
Hi. Dr. Saurabh, hi. Good
Yeah,
evening.
I
Hi.
think Aarti, I think it was fantastic. And I think the key of this photo was the spontaneity. Like you just thought of, it looked like an eye and we can make something out of it. And it was really nice. And I would like to visit Tanzania definitely after seeing this photograph.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, your judges, for all your comments. We'll quickly move on. We have 25 entries, so we will quickly move on to our next presentation, next contestant. So our next contestant is Dr. Alexander. He's a second-year diploma DNB in Sankarai Hospital at Pammal, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So Dr. Alexander has sent this photo. Dr. Alexander, if you're there, could you quickly unmute yourself and just describe your photo?
Good evening, everyone. This is the photograph taken from my smartphone, and this is the patient view of tunnel vision. And tunnel vision is the loss of periphery vision and the retention of the central vision. It can be associated more commonly with the glaucoma, advanced glaucoma, and retinitis pigmentosa and post PRP. So early detection and treatment of eye problem is the best way and keep your healthy vision throughout your life. To maintain them in to central vision may satisfy their life to see a heart desire things and to do their routine works. So, thank you.
So that was very nicely taken, Dr. Alexander. Thank you so much. Nilesh, any comments from you over?
I just wanted to ask, did you spot this hole in the leaf or it was made manually?
No, sir. It was there in the leaf.
So then that is a very good photograph. Otherwise, if you're going to make it yourself, then it's a forced photograph. But this was very natural. So
No, sir.
good spotting.
I thought I was better looking for the best leaf to find out for the beach.
Yeah. No, good spot like that.
Thanks.
Dr. Vishal, sir, if you're there.
Yeah, really excellent, excellent. I would say that that I would call as impromptu imagination, like we have impromptu talk that finding that hole and clicking a photograph. Really nice, excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. With that, with interest in time, I'll just move on to our next contestant, and that's Dr. So this is Dr. Alexander. Then we have Dr. Amit Anand Kukar. So Dr. Amit Anand is a postgraduate from PGI Chandigarh. He's now currently working as a senior resident in the Regional Institute of Ophthalmology. And this is his photograph, which he has labeled as Starry Night. Dr. Amit, are you there? Okay, I think Dr. Amit is unable to join us. So he describes about his photo that this photo shows multiple lenticular opacities, blue dot cataract, resembling stars in sky during the night. So Digvijay sir, what do you think about the photo? I hope you could have a look at the photo. Well, I'll just project that again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just loading.
Yeah. It's there.
No, I think indeed this is I would describe it as the universe is within us and we are within the universe situation. So again, a unique appearance, a common appearance presented in a unique way. Actually, we all see. So yeah, but of course, Dr. Anand, well done.
Dr. Saurabh sir, what do you think about the photo that Dr. Amit has sent?
Yeah, very nice photograph. In fact, we see so many things inside the eye which mimic universal things. So just we went to ESCRS this just last week, and Dr. Bob Osher presented a very beautiful video where he showed a lot of things, eye pictures, which had quite resemblance with so many things in the universe, and it was really nice. So this photograph definitely reminds me of that video. Thank you.
So that was nice. Thank you so much. And yes, with that, I will move on to our next entry, and that is Dr. Anoop. So Dr. Anoop is a senior consultant specializing in phaco-refractive and anterior segment surgeries. He's a passionate photographer, sportsman, teacher, and clinician. He aims at giving the best to the society. So I think Dr. Anoop is unable to join us today. So Dr. Anoop has sent this entry, which he calls the art of eye. So he says that this is an art of eye design, which he sketched on an eggshell, giving an impression of a prosthetic eye. And he says that he really sees eye everywhere. So,
Nupur, I'm already here. Can you hear me?
so sorry, Dr. Anup. I'm so sorry. Do you want to describe
that's
a little
okay.
more
That's
about
okay.
your... Yeah.
No, you had already described it. It's actually like when we are looking into an ocular prosthesis, no, the shells which we use to implant post enucleation or illustration. Not. So it is just a boiling egg in a pan with water where we can see the textures around. So it just resembles that shell which we can implant in the eye post evisceration and all. So I have just sprinkled some water above to give a better view of just like a cornea with some water and wetness around. The fluids resembles the tear films and the normal texture of the eye surface, ocular surface. So I have just created it, just came in my mind by the shell of an egg resembling to a shell of ocular prosthesis.
Wow, that was really nice. So I could actually correlate to it being an oculoplasty surgeon. That was really nice. Nilesh, your thoughts on that photo?
No, that was really creative to like create something out of a normal eggshell, and just to add those sprinkle of water to give that sheen of cornea. That was really thoughtful. So nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Digvijay sir?
I think it is it is the thought and then the execution to achieve that counts. Both those were there in that photograph.
Thank you, Dr. Anu.
Thank you, sir.
We have one more entry
Thank you.
which we'll take it up later. So yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Yes. So next we have Dr. Aparna Bose. So Dr. Aparna is currently pursuing fellowship in phacoemulsification in medical retina from the ASGI Hospital, Kolkata. She's done numerous paper and case presentations at various national and conferences and have publications in national journals. She has a keen interest in music, writing, and photography, which she believes that it enriches her perspective both personally and professionally. So that's Dr. Aparna Bose. And Dr. Aparna Bose has sent this photo, which she describes as a PCR scene. So Dr. Aparna, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. So I was cruising through the Indian Ocean. So when I saw this, I was reminded of my first posterior capsular rent. The divine sunbeams reminded me of that divine red glow which I got right from behind. And it was right when I was doing the quadrant removal. There was still some cortex left. So those clouds are symbolizing that fluffy cortex that was hanging in there, waiting for its fate. And the red glow is symbolized to the sunbeam that is piercing through the clouds. So luckily the patient was managed well, but yes, it always makes me remember that, oh, I did this then. So this photograph reminds me of my first PCR. Yes.
So that is a very beautiful imagination, Aparna. So really, you really see eye everywhere. So that's really nice. Vishal sir,
Thank you, ma'am.
what do you think about her?
Yeah, amazing photography skills, but that's a lot of cortical matter, Aparna. A lot of cortical matter. You'll need my help to remove it. Not removed by yourself.
Yes, sir, definitely. I had to call my consultant
And
for
the,
it.
and the C denotes vitreous, huh? What does the C denote?
Yes, sir. It is the C. The C is a
That
vitreous.
is liquefied vitreous for you.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
Makes
sir,
the,
sir, I think she loves retina because I think she is the first surgeon I have heard hearing divine red glow in PCR. That
yeah,
means
yeah.
everybody fears that red glow.
So
That
it
was
would have been a
divine
little more
because
natural if you had clicked, during the dusk time. So that red glow would have been more appreciated.
more, yes, sir. More.
Otherwise, it's a wonderful photograph.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Saurabh sir, what are your thoughts on her photo, Dr. Aparna's photo?
Yeah, quite, I would say, imaginative because probably I am being also a vitreoretina surgeon. That's why I like the oceans and seashore more, probably because of this. Now I got the idea why I like.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, Dr. Aparna, thank you for this wonderful thing. You have one more entry. We'll be taking that up later. So, this was Dr. Aparna. Next, we have Dr. Aswati Vijayan. So, she's unable to join us. I'll be presenting on her behalf. So, she's done her MBBS from Government Medical College, Kozhikode, Kerala. She's done a DNB ophthalmology from Comtrust Eye Hospital, Kozhikode, and fellowship in phaco-corneal refractive surgeries from MNI Hospital, Chennai. She's currently working in the Department of Cataract, Corneal, and Refractive Surgery at Sunrise Eye Hospital, Kannur, and her special interest is arts, singing, and dancing. So, Dr. Aswati has sent this photo, which she has labeled as leopard spots. So she says that leopard spots are round lesions with peripheral dark spots. The lesions are located at the level of the RPE and include fibrosis, hyperplastic changes of RPE at the periphery, and thinning and atrophy of RPE at the center. So the leopard spot retinopathy is an uncommon but clinically distinct manifestation of several systemic conditions, including leukemia, systemic form of large cell non-Hodgkin lymphoma, systemic carcinoma, and bilateral diffuse uveitic melanocytic proliferation, and idiopathic uveal effusion syndrome. So she has clicked this picture of the leopard and has labeled as leopard spots. So over to our panelists for their comments. Nilesh, what do you think about that photo, leopard spots?
That photograph is really beautiful. That correlating it with the retina condition is a separate thing, but the framing was really appreciative. Yeah.
Digvijay sir, your thoughts on the photograph by Dr. Aswati?
Yeah, I think the concept behind it is good, but I think if you have if you amalgamated the eye or the retinopathy along with it somewhere, it would have been a little more, I think, appropriate from that perspective. But otherwise, yes, a good concept.
Thank you. So with this, we will move on to our next entry, and that is by Dr. Bhogi Rahul. So Dr. Bhogi Rahul is a pediatric ophthalmology fellow from Visakhapatnam. He likes to stay abreast with the current in the latest development in the field. He actively participates in quizzes, attends conferences, and engages in continuous medical education to enhance his knowledge and skills. And his goal is to integrate new insights and best practices into his clinical work, contributing to improve patient care. Dr. Rahul, are you there? Okay, so I think he's unable to join us, and he has sent this photograph, which he's labeled gonioscopy. So he says that this captivating photo mirrors the intricate beauty of the eye's angle as seen through the gonioscopy. So the sky with its delicate gradients and ethereal hues evokes the complex structures of eye's iridocorneal angle. Just as a gonioscopic lens reveals the hidden details of the eye, the image unveils a subtle interplay between light and color in the sky, drawing a parallel between the natural world and the intricate anatomy of our vision. So this is a reminder of how the macro and micro worlds are interconnected, each reflecting others' wonders. So that's a beautiful amalgamation of the micro and the macro world, I must say. So over to our judges. Dr. Saurabh, sir, what do you think about Dr. Rahul's version of gonioscopy?
I think the write-up was as good as the photograph itself. I think.
Yes.
Credit to that write-up.
Yes. Vishal, sir, what do you think about?
Yeah, I echo the same sentiments. The write-up was really very touching and it complemented the beautiful image.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So with this, I will move on to the next entry, and this is, yeah. So this is Dr. Ekta Sen. So Dr. Ekta Sen has done a fellowship in cornea and external diseases from Desai Hospital, Barakpur, West Bengal. She's currently working as a specialist at IG ESIC Hospital, Delhi. So Dr. Disha is unable to join us today, but she has sent this photo where she has correlated this wax apple, the conical shape, with the Munson sign in keratoconus. So she says that she has described the Munson sign. This refers to a V-shaped indentation in the lower lid margin when the patient looks downward. And this is characteristically seen in advanced cases of keratoconus due to thinning and steepening of the cornea, causing the lower lid to be pulled downwards by the protruding cone-shaped cornea. And Munson sign helps in clinical assessment of keratoconus severity. So that's what her imagination is. When she sees a wax apple, she correlates with the Munson sign of keratoconus in her clinics. So, Nilesh, what do you think about her imagination?
The correlation was really good. It fell into that. The photographs like could have been framed a little better, but the thought was very nice behind it.
Digvijay sir, your thoughts on
Yes, I think again the concept is good, but one would have to explain it a bit to understand it that way, standalone.
yes.
But that said, I think the thought behind the seeing an eye everywhere is definitely there in that.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir and Nilesh. Next, we move on to our next entry, and this is Dr. Alexander again, and he has labeled this multifocal. So over to you, Dr. Alexander, to describe your entry.
Thank you. This is the view of multifocal lens post-cataract surgery from the patient's point of view. So the both are premium lenses. So the first patient has the no corneal astigmatism, and the second patient has corneal astigmatism. So even in 0.75 corneal astigmatism, the correction will be satisfied for the posterior visual prognosis. So we need to counsel for the patient when they have astigmatism in the corneal surface for toric multifocal lenses. Thank you.
So very nice imagination. Dr. Vishal, sir, what do you think about?
Yeah, excellent imagination and a very good tool in the counseling chambers for our staff. They can easily tell you what your post-op outcomes will be. So very nice.
Thank you.
Saurabh, sir.
Yeah, very good. In fact, there are very good websites on which you can simulate vision, and this was very nicely depicted in this photograph, comparing the two. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, Dr. Alexander, how did you click that blurred photograph? How did you give that effect to it?
Ma'am, it is the portrait mode in the smartphone. So there will be a central focusing point will be there. So if you focus on tip of the phone, it will blur, it will show. When you focus that tip on the center, it will be clear.
So you took this photograph specially for this contest, or I mean, you had.
No, while normally clicking it, that viewpoint, that focusing will go off. So
No,
it
I
came.
said with this photo, this
Yeah,
blurry
yes, no.
thing. You took
Yes,
it.
no.
That's nice. Nilesh, any comments from you? What do you think? I think we've got, these kind of things. We have these set photographs which
Yeah.
we keep on seeing in textbooks and in
Yeah.
journals. So this is something really new which he has created.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's what like you asked the question that was in my mind, that how this was clicked, because generally this can be done only through DSLR to give that defocus, but really good and nice this thing simulation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Alexander. And with that, we move on to our next entry. Thank you so much. Yes. And yeah, so this was Dr. Alexander. Next, we have Dr. G. Kripakaran. So he's a second-year primary DNB resident at Sankarai Hospital, Chennai. His interest is to take clinical photographs, and he's very curious about it. And he likes to share them here. So this is Dr. G. Kripakaran. He has labeled it Sunrise in Nature's Eyes. Dr. G. Kripakaran, if you're there, you could just unmute and describe your photograph, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. This is the photograph I took with my smartphone during a peaceful morning walk on the beach. Actually, this image bears a striking resemblance to an eye, reminding me of a case which I saw in my OPD. The sunrise beautifully symbolizes the birth of a child full of hope and promise, but the sun peeking to the leaf represents leucocoria, a silent yet alarming sign for parents. Though the sun shines brightly, its brilliance carries a deeper, more worrisome meaning for the parents. The reminder of urgency to detect and act early to protect the child's vision and health. Just as the morning holds the potential for a new day, early intervention holds the key for the new future of the child.
So that was very nice, Dr. G. Kripakaran. Yeah, so this is his explanation, which he says, bringing
Yes.
new sunrise to, like hope in someone's life. That's really beautiful. So thank you, Dr. G. Kripakaran. Nilesh, what do you think about his correlation and the beautiful photography?
No, again, yeah, the framing was really beautiful. I loved the veins of the leaf that were popping out. So it is a smartphone click again.
Yes, sir, it's a smartphone click.
So I don't know why I bought the DSLR now. But very nice, very nice. It was really relevant to the theme also, and very nice photography.
Thank you.
Digvijay sir, what do you think about his sunrise?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, yes. No, so I think again, from the perspective of this meeting, our theme, it certainly does that, and also, where from are you able to get these things out, things that we otherwise would see but always miss. So I think that was an amazing,
Yes, so that was
amazing
the
thought to the
concept.
concept. Yeah, that's what.
That was the yes. So we thought that everybody has photography competitions, correlating eye with nature. So we thought let us do it the other way around, and so yes. So we received very good entries. So thanks to all the young ophthalmologists for sending across such nice entries. So we move on. Thank you, Dr. G. Kripakaran, for your wonderful entry. Next, we have one more entry by Dr. Amit Anand Kukad, and he says this is Best disease. So he calls this egg yolk macula. So this photo, he says, shows yellow round subretinal lesion in macular area, which resembles the egg yolk, is seen in Best disease, and this is a vitelliform macular dystrophy. So I think Dr. Amit is unable to join us, and so judges, Saurabh sir and Vishal sir, what do you think about the egg yolk dystrophy, the photo that he's captured? Vishal, sir, we can go with you first.
Yes, excellent photograph, and I would have preferred, to describe the stages of Best disease. So this one was the first stage, and maybe he would have taken a photograph of the scrambled egg, and that would have been, the disruptive stage of Best disease. But otherwise, very imaginative, nice photograph.
Dr. Saurabh, sir, what do you think about?
Yeah, I think many of these things, like in books also, we see a lot of simile which are given, like egg yolk or like leopard spots already described in this competition. So they make it makes us easy to remember things. So I think with this photograph, I will definitely remember the maculopathy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vishal, sir. Thank you, Dr. Amit, for your entry. And we'll move on to our next entry, which is by Dr. Giriraj Vibhute. So he's working as a junior consultant at Joshi Eye Institute. He has keen interest in surgical retina and has multiple national and international presentations and awards for his surgical videos. So this is Dr. Giriraj's entry, and over to you, Doc. Should I play the video as you're describing, Dr. Giriraj?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Here you go. Yeah.
You can mute now. You can mute and play so that people can see.
Okay, I will, yeah, just let me, okay, sure. 1 second. Yeah.
This was a case of proliferative diabetic retinopathy with tractional retinal detachment. You can see the neovascularization progressed over the posterior capsule. As we did the posterior capsulotomy, we saw this bloody waterfall, which reminded me of my last visit to the majestic and beautiful Jog waterfalls, which I recorded on the smartphone. And the correlation here is, even though it is majestic and beautiful to look at this point, it can turn into something terrifying. So terrifyingly beautiful at the same time. So the message here is diabetes and diabetic retinopathy, if not treated properly, can turn terrifying. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Giriraj. That was really that is really terrifyingly beautiful. So, Nilesh, your thoughts on this terrifying beauty?
I have been to Jog Falls. I was in Manipal during my MBBS, so I have been there, and nothing can be heard. So rightly, he got you to mute that video, because this is actually silent killer, like what he was doing in the other half of the video. Such a high amount of bleed, if it starts happening right from the optical center, then everything goes haywire. So very aptly put. And actually, like, I was not knowing that videos submissions are also a part of this photography, but it was really good.
So the submission of video, I leave it to the discretion of the judges. You can decide to take a call on how you want to mark him.
No, it is.
Yes, why
For
not?
me,
Why
it was
not?
very
If you
small.
accepted it, I think we should judge it.
Yes.
It'll have to be judged slightly differently, actually, I think, compared to the, I feel, but still, we'll consider it. We'll not disqualify anybody just for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Vishal sir, your thoughts on this terrifying beauty?
Yeah, as Lee said that, every step of diabetic vitreoretinal is so crucial. Even a seemingly simple case can turn into, a messy scenario if you don't keep your vigil high. And right from he was just doing a, posterior capsulotomy with a cutter, and that led to the bleeding. So you have to be very careful, and that's what it's apt like. It's a very dangerous beauty to be seen. And you have to be very vigilant while doing these surgeries. Excellent. Excellent, Vibhuti.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Saurabh sir, your thoughts on the beauty being, described terrifyingly?
Yeah, I think the thought process was right. The video could have been little bit magnified because probably on the phone I could not see the bleeding happening. So like joke falls, but of course for a retina surgeon, even a drop of blood is terrifying. So
So an oculoplasty surgeon is sitting in front of you. So when you say those words, drop of blood is terrifying. So yes. Digvijay sir, what do you think about that? Digvijay sir, are you there? Yeah.
Yeah. So I keep this thing move. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are. Yes.
Yes, of course. So I think I would congratulate the entry, and also I would congratulate the theme again, because it is something that we are seeing. I know I'm repeating myself, but it is an amazing thing that we are seeing. But also from the perspective, actually, that a lot of this is also involving, as they say, using your inner eye to see what you're seeing, and then actually seeing it in the exterior. So that's coming out fairly evidently here. And good. Congratulations on that. Yes.
So I guess when we see waterfalls and seas and oceans, all of us are going to have a different perspective to
Yes. Yes, indeed.
all of us now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Giriraj, for that wonderful entry. And
Thank
we
you.
will move on to our next entry, and that is. So this is again by Dr. Anup Kumar, and he labels it the sun-kissed dog. So Dr. Anup, if you're there, yeah.
Yep, Nupur. Yeah, I'm there. So this is the initial morning blinks of my pet dog, and we can see her eyes looking forward how day is going to be because this is a holiday and we are going to stay with her for a whole day. Usually on work days we'll be going out. So she used to sleep with us. So it is initial when we open the curtain, she lifted up the head, so we can see that hope and the fun-filled day, upcoming day in her eyes. And these all photos are both of my photos have been taken with smartphone only.
So that was very, I must say, Nilesh, what do you think about that sun-kissed dog? Yeah.
The photograph again, same as the leopard thing. It was really beautifully framed photograph, and lighting was really good. So the hair, the texture of that hair was coming out really well. Again, what Digvijay sir is telling, that it requires a little bit of correlation with the theme, but photograph wise, it was really awesome.
So Vishal sir, what do you think about that sun-kissed dog photograph? Okay, so Digvijay sir, any thoughts on that photograph from you? Saurabh sir, from you? So I think we'll move on with our next entry. Thank you, Dr. Anup. So Dr. Anup has also been a very active member in submitting all his entries for the socio-cultural activities. So we look forward to having you more and more entries from you in the future as well. Thank you, Dr. Anup.
Sure. I'll keep bothering you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. And with this, we have our next participant. So this is Dr. Harshal Sahare. So he's a dedicated vitreoretina surgeon, and he's particularly interested in providing services related to clinical VR, ROP with special attention to ocular oncology. He has a track record of research accomplishments, including publications around 26 in national and international journals, and he stays abreast on clinical advancements by actively participating in conferences. He's currently at Dr. Agrawal's Eye Hospital, Tirunelveli at Tamil Nadu. So this is Dr. Harshal Sahare, and he has labeled it, this is a frozen ice crystal behind the crystalline lens. So Dr. Harshal, if you're there, you could just unmute yourself and just describe your photo, please.
Good evening, judges and respected you members. This was a photo taken by me in a slit lamp in retro illumination. It is a photograph of right eye showed feathery linear opacities in the posterior subcapsule of the crystalline lens of a 56-year-old male gentleman presented with a full thickness macular roll and undergone pars plana vitrectomy with internal limiting membrane peeling with gas tamponade. On post-op day, this is a post-op ocular pathology which resembles to me like a frozen eye crystal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harshal. So this reminds me of the movie Frozen, which my daughter is very fond of watching, those typical frozen ice crystals. That was a nice entry. So any comments from Dr. Vishal, sir, if you're there?
Yeah, I'm here. The photograph was really nice, and especially I like the second frame in which he zoomed, and the resolution is really beautiful. May I ask which camera you're using in the slit lamp? It's from an iPhone or Android, or it's an integrated camera?
Sir, it's a Android one only, sir. A OnePlus 9 Pro.
And you use the adapter for capturing
Yes,
this.
sir. Yes, sir.
Excellent, Harshal. Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
So, yes, sort of, so please.
Yeah, it's very nice, and this is the beautiful picture which we don't want to see post-op definitely. But
Yes.
luckily it reduces over a period of time. So very nicely clicked.
Thank you, sir.
Digvijay, sir, your thoughts on Dr. Harshal's entry?
I think, as you suggested, that does remind you of Frozen, and these are some of these classic situations where you see it in a and you see it, and the image just superimposes and forms what nature has done to us, both in the eye and outside. So indeed, very nice.
Thank you, sir.
So with this, we will move on. Thank you, Dr. Harshal, for that wonderful entry. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
best to you. Yes, yes. And we have our next entry, which is by, so this was Dr. Harshal. Next, we have again a beautiful entry by Dr. Aparna Bose, and she calls it the passion flower. So over to you, Dr. Aparna, for your description of your photograph.
Yes, ma'am. So I was strolling around in a garden where I saw this flower. This is a passion flower, and it bears a very stark resemblance to the morphology of a coronary and sutural cataract. The purple coronal filaments that are radiating out resemble the opacified peripheral coronary cataract, while the three styles at the center, they resemble the opacified Y-shaped anterior lens suture of a sutural cataract. So I'm always reminded of the lens structure when I see this picture. That is why I submitted this entry. Yeah.
Thank you. That was a beautiful imagination. Nilesh, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would like to add, if you take a side view of this flower, then it will resemble the retinal vasculature and the hyaloid artery that has not regressed. So that is
Regressed, yes.
one more submission that you can do next year.
Yes.
But really nice. The color was really vibrant.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I like your interpretation, Nilesh. Indeed.
And Digvijay, sir, what are your thoughts on Aparna's interpretation of the passion flower?
No, indeed interesting. And now that I look at it, there are so many interpretations just for the same thing. But indeed, the point of view that you keep for it.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aparna, for those wonderful two entries. All the best to you. And thank you so much. Please keep participating in the future socio-cultural events as well. Thank you so much.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
So that was Dr. Aparna. Then we have Dr. Aswati Vijayan again. So she's unable to join us. So she says she's labeled this as sunset. So she has labeled this with this the choroidal depigmentation, which occurs several months after the uveitic stage, which leads to a pale disc with bright red orange choroid known as the sunset glow fundus. And this phase is, it lasts several months. So VKH is a systemic autoimmune disorder that affects the organs, including the eyes, that have melanocytes in their tissues. In some patients of VKH, progression into chronic recurrences of granulomatous uveitis occurs, and depigmentation of the choroid results from choroidal melanocyte damage. In those cases, the fundus shows orange discoloration, which is called the sunset glow fundus. So this is the sunset glow fundus by Dr. Aswati. So Vishal sir and Saurabh sir, this is your specialty. So your comments on my photograph.
Actually, the color captured is exactly what we see in a depigmented fundus in cases of, posterior uveitis which have turned chronic, whether it is VKH or other entities. And even that similarly to the orange peels also, is similar to the sunset sign. And the clinical significance is that, of course, you can make that diagnosis. And the other thing, it's very difficult. The contrast is low. So if you're operating a retinal surgeries in these cases, whether it is albinotic funduses or whether it's a depigmented funduses, it's very difficult to locate a break, and it's really tough to laser also these areas because the RPE does not take the burn. So otherwise, coming back to the image, it was very nice, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Saurabh sir, what do you think about that image of hers?
Actually, beautiful image. What I feel is that you can never take a bad photograph of a sunset, and it's so beautiful. And of course, actually, after this contest, I am going to think about all these ocular things when I'm going to see all this scenery. Okay.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Dr. Aswati, for your entry. With this, we'll quickly move on to our next presenter. So that's Dr. Meenal Soni. So she's done her MBBS MS ophthalmology. She's currently pursuing her VR fellowship from ASGI Hospital, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. And this is Dr. Meenal's image. She calls it lotus in a pond. So Dr. Meenal, if you're there, you could quickly unmute yourself and describe your image, please.
Right, ma'am. A very good evening to all. So this image I encountered while I was roaming in the garden during my residency days. Being in the nature is the best and ultimate stress buster, and it energizes you to go back again and perform your duties, which we all know residency is hectic. So this image during for the contest, I searched it out, and during that period, I have taken a lot of nature photography, and this image could be could be uh, imagined as of a pearly white cataract. This beautiful white lotus in a pond, and the pond could depict the vitreous, and if at all, I think this is the simplicity has the most beauty in itself. That's all, I guess. I mean, I found it very beautiful to send it, and the moment I see it, I I'm being reminded of the pearly white color of that mature cataract.
So thank you, Dr. Meenal, for sharing that beautiful photograph and your imagination with us. So, Dr. Nilesh, your thoughts on that pearly white lotus in the pond?
Yeah, ma'am. First I thought that it was oversaturated, like the white color is oversaturated, but when she was telling that it is actually the natural color, then I could correlate it with the cataract. The petals also, if you go thinking like that, then again it can be like intumescent cataract with the petals resembling those flowery pockets of water. But nice capture.
Digvijay sir, your thoughts on the lotus in the pond?
Yeah, it's a good picture. The only thing is, yes, I mean, it does require a little explanation for us to think of it as an eye. It still was not. It didn't just strike out like a lot of the other photographs, but otherwise a good picture. But with the explanation in place, now I can think of it that way.
So thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Meenal, for that entry. You have one more entry. We'll be presenting that later. So yeah, next we have Dr. Mitali Jam. So Dr. Mitali Jam is a trainer, surgeon working as an SR in Batra Hospital and Medical Research Center, Delhi. She's an avid traveler with a passion for exploring new cultures and destinations. So Dr. Mitali Jam is unable to join us today. So she calls this photo as the showers of blessings. So she has correlated this with asteroid hylosis. So these are yellow-white sparkling particles called asteroid bodies, which are within the vitreous cavities. And she says that resembles the stars in the night sky. And these brilliant particles create a celestial display in the eye, adding a unique sparkle to vision. And she says that this starry sky appearance is from Norway. And it was just after she had seen the northern lights. So yeah, so this is Dr. Mithali Jam's photo as, showers of blessing. So Vishal, so what do you think about this photo, the showers of blessings?
Yeah, stunning image by Mithali. And I actually like that yellow street light, over that shower of snowflakes and, dispersing itself. And as if you're concerned with the asteroid halosis, I don't think it matches because it's a very clear photograph. In asteroid halosis, you cannot see anything. And sometimes we have to do angiography to see the details in a PDR patient if the patient has asteroid halosis. Anyways, coming back to the image, it was a stunning photograph. And you said it was from Norway, right?
Yes, that's what she's mentioned. Yes, sir.
I wonder if it was such a bad weather. I've been to Norway. You need a clear sky to see the northern lights. Excellent.
Thank you. So in the interest of time, I'll quickly move on to our next presentation because we have one more segment on video editing to go ahead as well. So our next presentation is by Dr. Nishi Prasad. So she's done a fellowship phaco and refractive surgery from ASG. She's currently pursuing it from ASGI Hospital, Bhopal, MP. And this is her entry. She calls it the syndromic rocks. So over to you, Dr. Nishi.
Yes, ma'am. So good evening, everyone. So this is a photo that I have taken at Siliguri district of West Bengal. So as soon as I clicked the photo, it got me reminded of IC syndrome. So because the rocks looked so atrophic and the connected rocks at the periphery, it resembles the broad peripheral synechia, and the center waterlogging pool, it resembles pseudopolychoria, since more than one water body, but it is not choria, it is pseudopolychoria because it's connected. So I have correlated it with IC syndrome, iridocorneal endothelial syndrome,
That was
and
quite
hence named as syndromic rods.
yeah,
Yes,
quite
ma'am.
the imaginative correlation, Dr. Nishi. Thank you so much. Nilesh,
Thank you, ma'am.
Nilesh, your thoughts on that correlation?
Yeah, actually, it was quite imaginative, but good photograph. Like the central water pocket was really good. But again, a lot of explanation that was needed to correlate it with. But nice photographs are really nice. All of these photographs are very nice.
So I think that's the beauty of this contest, people running wild into the imagination to correlate things with eye, which you would have otherwise not imagined. So I think all our participants have done a fantabulous job that way. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nishi, for that wonderful photo. I'll move on to the next participant. So this was Dr. Nishi. Next, we have Dr. Rohit Gupta. So he's a junior resident from GSVM Medical College. A very interesting photograph of Rohit. Are you there? Okay, I think Rohit could not join us today. So he calls it the mushroom and donut. So this patient was sent to us by medicine department for reference as she was suffering from thrombocytopenia on fundus examination. And he said that he has seen this for something for the first time, which was looking like a mushroom and a donut. And because he was just a JR1 at that time, and this was actually subhyaloid hemorrhage and rod spots. And this image got settled in his memory. And whenever he looks at a mushroom and donut, the findings will always click in his mind. So that's a really tempting, yummy photo of mushroom and a donut. So, Saurabh sir, what do you think about the mushroom and the donut?
This is really creative. I think I haven't heard of, sign said as mushroom and donut. Definitely he can publish a paper and name it mushroom and donut sign.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Vishal sir, your thoughts on that mushroom and donut? I think this is really, yeah.
Yes, definitely very imaginative, and I will always remember. Of course, I would like to spread some strawberry jam over the donut, so it would look more similar to the rock spot. Excellent photograph.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Rohit, for that entry. And we'll move on to our next participant. So, yeah. So, yeah, he says that this is actually a smartphone fundus photograph that was taken by him. Next, again, we have Dr. Meenal Soni, and her photograph is a tree branch. Meenal, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again. So this image is again from my residency days, and after hearing about the contest, when I scrolled through my phone for the photographs, I found this very intriguing. Since I am doing a retina fellowship, so after I saw the fundus fluorescein angiography of an old BRVO patient, seeing this picture reminded me of that tea tree in bud appearance which we see on fluorescein angiography in cases of old branch retinal vein occlusion patients. So this was a cloudy day, and there are small flowers on this tree branch budding like buds in tree appearance is similarly depicting the old BRVO FFA picture.
Thank you, Dr. Meelan. And that was again a very imaginative correlation. So, Digvijay sir, what do you think about that FFA correlation of the tree branch?
No, I think indeed, the photograph is very nice. I really like the perspective from which has been taken, looking up against the sky, and then correlating it to the arterial, arboreal branching that we see in the retinal vessels as well. So, a good correlation, a good photograph, and a very good perspective.
Nilesh, your thoughts?
I would have preferred to correlate it with the capillary dropouts on Octa, because that it resembled more like that. But again, the photograph was very good.
I
There
think
was no
because the
Octana at
people
the
have
time when
allowed
she took
Nilesh
it.
to submit entries, no? He's also coming up with some nice questions. Yeah.
No, I have the ulta correlation. When I see something in my OPD, then I correlate it with nature. So it's like it is the other way around.
Thank you. So thank you, Dr. Meenal, once again for that entry. And Meenal is a very beautiful dancer as well. And she performed in the YO night on a beautiful, her performance was so beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Meenal, and all the best to you. So yes, so that was Dr. Meenal. Next is Dr. Shamli D. Zalke. So she's currently a junior resident in AIMS Hyderabad. She joined recently in February 2024. So she's done a UG from GMC Nagpur, Maharashtra. So, and this is her photograph. She calls it the omelette fungus. So Dr. Meenal, if you're there, you could unmute yourself and just describe your entry, please.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So this is a photo of a normal fundus picture created out of egg omelette, normal salted egg omelette, in which the egg white is representing the background of the fundus and the egg yolk is showing the optic disc. The arteries and the veins have been attempted to be drawn by tomato sauce. I got this idea while having my breakfast before running on to the duty. Thank you.
I really want to have that omelette. It looks so tempting, Dr. Shamli. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hear it from the judges. Vishal sir, what do you think about that omelette fundus?
Yeah, very tasty photograph, I would say. And but it's it's a reverse analogy because the ketchup has been overused. So it seems to be a case of hyperviscosity syndrome. And the disc is made of yolk, so it's a pale disc. So both pale disc and hyperviscosity syndrome will not correlate in the same photograph. Otherwise, it would have
Vishal, there is something tomato ketchup fundus also, no? Ischemic CRVO or something.
CMV retinitis, no? It's an
No, it is CRV, splash sauce appearance.
Splash sauce appearance.
Yeah, those are splashes, not blood vessels.
But Vishal sir, I must compliment Dr. Shamli. She's just a first year PG, you know.
No, yeah, exactly.
Think of it, and sending an
And I love her confidence to speak like that and draw like that. I was very naive at her stage. So.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
I remember my posting with Dr. Vishal sir. I think it was just 2-3 months into PG. He asked me, what's a PVD? And I confidently said, it's a peripheral vascular disease. He's like, okay, MBBS, you're an ophthalm. Must start thinking like an ophthalmologist. So, yeah. So that's so Shamli, very well done. Saurabh, so what do you think about the
Thank you, ma'am.
About her
Yeah, very nice for a first year student to have imagined the fundus, how it looked like. But I think the prize should go to Vishal sir for his imagination for calling it a pale disc. Tomato ketchup, so many things. Vishal sir, you are the right judge for this competition.
I'm just making it interesting, yeah.
But I love ketchup, so I think a lot of ketchup makes things tastier, definitely.
And if we add a little oregano to it, then it can become like a pigmentary, that retinitis pigmentosa, like a bonus picules. I'm just adding to the imagination.
Yeah, and some salt and pepper. So
salt and pepper.
Salt, pepper, right? Nice.
See, our brains have also started getting more creative now with the wonderful entries. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shamli. That was really nice. And I hope when we visit you, we get to eat this omelette fundus. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Moving on, we have Dr. Mitali Jam again, and she has labeled this Dekho Wo Aa Gaya. So again, she says this is one of the most common complaint of patients after cataract surgery is seeing a floater. So floater are spots in vision resembling black-gray dots, cobwebs, mostly due to age-related degeneration of vitreous. And she said it's from a beer building, and the gliders made her remind of the floater. So whatever gliders that you're seeing in the photograph, she has, it's her imagination is that of the floaters. So Digvijay sir, what do you think about those floaters? Imagination.
So this is the photograph you've taken, or you've how have you taken this?
She has taken the photo from a building, she said, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the the title that you've given it to, Dekho Wo Aa Gaya concept, but a good perspective. A little bit of imagination, of course, needed to try and figure it out. But that said, from a photography perspective, a good capture.
Nilesh, from you, yeah.
I think same sentiment. It is the sunset, like what Saurabh was saying. The sunset and the beaches, they never go wrong.
So thank you, Dr. Mitali, for submitting that entry, both your entries. And we move on to our next participant. So this is Dr. Simi. Shiv Kumar Pillai. So she's done her post-graduation in MS Ophthalmology from DRSMCSI Medical College, Karakoram, and she has her own clinic at Kollam, Kerala currently. So Dr. Simi has labeled this picture ripe jackfruit. So Dr. Simi, if you're there, you could just unmute yourself and describe this photo.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Yosi, for giving me this platform. Now, about the photo, it was last jackfruit season. My mother was preparing a sweet dish from a ripe jackfruit. So I happened to see the outer skin, and the fruit was surprisingly resembling the corneal endothelial layer on a specular microscope in a colorful way. So I clicked a pic on my mobile and I sent it to my husband. He's also an ophthalmologist. The reply came, "Whose specular microscope image is this? How come it is colorful?" And I showed this same picture to my toddler. He said, "Mama, this is the hexagon." So I realized one can see, the eye can see what a mind knows. So I sent this picture in this contest so that there is a lot of minds who can see the eye everywhere they see. So I sent this picture. In this, we can see there are lost endothelial cells and all like that. So I imagine like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Simi. That was again a very, nice. And as you rightly said, what the eye sees, what the mind knows. That's so true. So thank you so much. Nilesh, your thoughts on
Yeah, my thought was same only. Like there is a Gatata also. So very nice picture.
Vishal?
It was in a macro mode, no?
It was zoomed. Yes, on my mobile.
Yeah. Vishal sir.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. What the mind knows and the eyes, they see the same. And I just see a sweet dish which your mom prepared. So I'm more interested in that.
We are from Kerala. There is a lot of sweet dish made of jackfruit.
We'll wait for it to be passed.
Lot of spices also there in Kerala, right?
Yes.
So thank you, Dr. Simi, for that wonderful entry. Thank you so much. All the best to you. With this, we come to the last but not the least entry of our contest. Again, this is Dr. Nishi Prasad. She has labeled them inflammatory clouds. So over to you, Dr. Nishi.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a late evening photograph of our beautiful lake of Bhopal. So it has resemblance to uveitis. This photograph was taken last month only in the spring season. So it was drizzling in the evening. And so it has a resemblance to uveitis.
Dr. Nishi, your voice is a little, can you just speak a little louder, please?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm driving, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So it has a resemblance to uveitis. So the red background can be compared with the inflammation. The dark gray clouds resemble fibrinous membrane. The small white light can be compared with the cells. The hazy water resembles aqueous flare. So, like I have named it as inflammatory clouds.
So that was really nice. Again, very imaginative. So Nishi is again, very creative person, lots into poetry and, so very good imagination, I must say. So Dr. Saurabh, what do you think about those inflammatory clouds?
Yeah, I think the photograph was really nice. And of course, there's quite the imagination to correlate with the inflammatory cloud. It's very good. The colors were very nicely shown there in the video, in the photo.
Digvijay sir, what do you think about the inflammatory clouds?
Yes, I think those clouds did look very inflammatory, but the photo was surprisingly very calming. So I think it was the opposite effect that it was having on my on my thought process. So I really can't think of that scene as that inflammatory, but the analogy is very apt.
Nilesh, your thoughts?
Same, ma'am. So it was very calming picture actually. So I was not not at all scared of the uveitis.
And Vishal sir, what do you think about this last entry?
Beautiful photograph and a lot of imagination.
Yes. So with this, we come to the end of the ICI Everywhere Contest Season 2. And judges, I'll just request you to, just fill in your mark sheets. And we will move on to our next segment. And I will request Dr. Zion to take over. And let me just start by introducing him. So lights, camera, action, all about surgical video recording for beginners. So this is Dr. Zain, who will also be moderating this session and is going to be giving the first talk. So Dr. Zain, I've already introduced before. So over to you, Dr. Zain, for further taking the session further.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. You've done a wonderful job with the photography and a lot of good imaginative photographs coming through. Before I start, I just want to know, Dr. Deepak Meghur sir has joined. So have we introduced Deepak sir?
Yes, we have
Okay.
introduced sir already. Yes.
Good evening, sir. Yeah. Okay. So, right. So now, we are moving on from photography to hardcore ophthalmic videography. And we have the same panelists who are judging the photography session along with Dr. Deepak Meghur sir. And these are all, in their own rights, very, prolific surgeons and guys who really love to, record and showcase surgical videos. And basically, the whole idea was to why we clubbed these two webinars was because, it was kind of on the same theme and same pattern, more to do with photography. And this next segment where we are talking about surgical video recording, we have speakers from all the segments. So we've got myself, who I'll be speaking on, parts of the operating room, what all the hardware required. And then we've got Dr. Akshay Nair, who will be speaking on oculoplasty recording. And then we've got Dr. Ashish, who will be speaking on posterior segment. And finally, who's the last speaker we have? Hirika, yeah. So Hirika is going to be speaking on making award-winning videos. So without much ado, I think we'll just start with my talk, and then we'll take the panelists' comments on each of the talks as we go ahead. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah, so my screen is visible, right, Dr. Nupur?
It's visible.
Okay, great, sir. Fine. So, so quickly, I'll just be talking about some of the hardware required for surgical video recording, and what I have learned. I mean, there's no one correct way of doing this, but what I have learned and what I have seen others around me doing. I am very passionate myself about ophthalmic surgical recording, and I've tried multiple systems myself. So when we talk about surgical videos, it starts from the operating room, and obviously it starts with the operating microscope. So when we are recording, so I'm going to be focusing on the anterior segment videography part of it, because that is what I primarily do. So it obviously starts with the operating microscope, and then we split the light which comes in from the operating microscope through a beam splitter, which then takes it into an external source. And then we've got a series of lenses in what we call as a C mount or an adapter, which goes from the beam splitter to the final camera, and from the camera it goes onto a recording device. So basically, this whole system of from the microscope to the recording device is part of the whole operating recording system. And Dr. Deepak is here. He's got some very good videos on his YouTube channel where he explains about the different recording devices and the recording systems that are there. And I encourage everyone who's watching this to even watch his channel, and very nicely elaborated about all the different systems that are there. Anyways, with respect to the microscope, so I won't go into too much details about the microscope, but I feel two factors are very important for anterior segment surgery recording today. One is apochromatic optics, and the second is stereocoaxial illumination. So for cataract surgery, if your microscope is having these two, you get a good recording system. And a microscope need not be very expensive to have these two features. So apochromatic optics are there in almost all microscope now, and we all know that you've got different stereo coaxial illumination devices which you can attach on your microscope for not a very hefty amount if your microscope doesn't already have a stereo coaxial illumination system. So these two requirements are important to get good quality output. Then we'll talk about the beam splitter. So the beam splitter splits the light. Broadly you have for microscopes a Zeiss type or a Leica type beam splitter to my knowledge. So the Zeiss type fits on most of the microscopes, whereas the Leica type fits for the Leica microscopes. And you can have the splitters of the original companies, or you can have the Indian and Chinese makes. Now it all depends, the original company splitters generally have better quality optics as compared to the Indian and Chinese makes, but then they are much more expensive. And then you can split it either 80 20, 70 30, 90 10. You've got different amounts of light that go. Generally, you can find out from your operating microscope beam splitter, the company, what is the one that is recommended for that microscope, and use one of them. And then you can have single or double. So if you've got double, you've got outputs on both the sides, or sometimes you've got an output only on one side. Then we'll move on to the different camera systems that we have. Quickly going through, we have these medical grade or ESC cameras. We've got DSLR based cameras, and then we've got smartphone based cameras. Now it is important to know what each of these camera systems is offering us for surgical video recording. So when you talk of a medical grade camera, they are good because they are all in one systems. They are supplied as a unit and they are easy to install. And then you can stream them on multiple monitors because the whole system comes with your HDMI cables and all. Generally, it is supplied by a single person. The drawback is that if it is of a reasonable cost, they are not generally of a good quality. And if you want a good quality, then they are really very expensive. Second thing is that they have small sensor sizes. So, the quality is not that great, even if you go for something that is quite expensive. And then, they are limited, they don't have the proper white balance exposure and the color contrast that we require, which they don't match up with the other systems. So that is about medical grade camera. DSLRs today have the best quality in terms of recording, contrast, quality, clarity, all this is much better. That is because their sensors are large. So larger sensor size gives you maximum detail. The drawbacks are that they are, heavy, bulky, and cumbersome to install. Because of the large sensor size, they have a poor depth of focus. So the larger the sensor size, the smaller is the depth. And parts are not easily available. So if you are doing something via DSLR, you have to get the parts yourself and you have to assemble it and make it yourself. So smartphone cameras are also very good quality with a very good depth of focus, exposure, white balance. These are all very good on smartphones. Because AI processing has become so good in smartphones, you get very good natural colors and very good post image processing. About smartphones, again, memory becomes an issue because you have a limited memory where you can store. You cannot stream on multiple monitors because not easy to get HDMI cables going out from the smartphone. And then again, smartphones have to be of a very good quality if you want that good quality recording. So just to show you how 3 BHEX ring insertion from the 3 camera systems, one is medical grade, one is DSLR, which I've taken from Dr. Meghur sir's YouTube channel, and one is by using a smartphone. So if you can see, the quality I would say is the best in the in the DSLR camera, and you can see the colors in the medical grade camera are not the best. They are very monotoned, and I would say color wise, naturally the most natural colors I can see in the smartphone based system. So this is just an idea to explain to you how the different systems, what output they are giving you. Whatever camera system you are using, 3 things are important while you are recording any video: centration, clarity, and focus. And while operating, you should always make sure that if you want a good output, you should make sure that it is centered and it is always in focus. Now, clarity again depends on the epithelial, endothelial haze, fluid pooling, and drying of the surface. So if you want a good recording, even if you can see well, you should make sure that the camera also can see well. So you should make sure these factors are taken into consideration. This is just another video to show you a focused and a non-focused capsulorhexis. So the top image you can see, even though it's clear, it's not well focused. And you can see the overexposure that is coming from the conjunctiva. Whereas in the bottom one, you can see good, well focused rex is being done. So again, this is something that is in our control, and we should make sure that this is done right. So in my OT, basically, I really have shifted over to smartphone system, and I'll just explain to you why. On one side, I have, a ESC camera, which goes to all the monitors. Whereas on the other side, for my personal recording of my good videos, I've got the smartphone system, which records the surgeries that I want. So this is just to show you, this is the output on the TV from one side of the beam splitter going to the medical camera. Okay, and just see this video. This is how I record on the smartphone. So if you see the clarity, I am very satisfied with the clarity that I'm getting on the smartphone. This is from my S24 Ultra. And you can see basically I'm quite happy, satisfied with the sharpness, with the details, and the color contrast. According to me, everything looks the most natural. So initially I was using medical grade camera. I have not ventured into DSLR, but now I have almost completely shifted smartphone surgical recording. So basically, I won't cover this part. This is about, the transferring of data and hardware. You need to make sure you have good storage devices, and it's backed up well, because these are, heavy files. So HD files of a cataract surgery are around 1 to 2 GB, whereas 4K are between 4 to 5 GB. So you need to have a PC with good requirements if you're editing the videos. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. That's about my inputs on anterior segment recording system. Thank you, and we would like to open the some comments from the panel. Meghur sir, Saurabh sir, Vishal sir, all of you on your inputs on this.
Zain, that was wonderful. I thought your smartphone did the best here compared to any other comparative videos which you showed. And I'd just like to know, how do you transfer the data from your phone to your hard disk? And is it possible to stream directly from your smartphone to your monitor there in the OT?
So the only thing is that right now, if you're streaming from the smartphone, it is happening wirelessly only on a single monitor. So if you want to do it on multiple monitors, you will need a HDMI with a Type C output, and then a splitter which will go on multiple monitors. Honestly, I have not tried that out, because I use the multiple streaming from my medical grade camera, and smartphone is, I only do select videos for the ones that I want to do. And then as far as storage is concerned, I'm storing on my phone only. I have specially bought a phone which has 1 TB memory. So I store and I save it on the phone. And if I feel that it's a large video, then I'll transfer it to the computer via wireless transfer. So, phone to computer via Samsung Flow. I use Samsung Flow, and I transfer it via Samsung Flow wirelessly on my computer if they are large files. But most of my videos I am saving on my phone. Of course, I've just started this maybe about 6 months back. So after a point when my phone gets full, I'll transfer the videos on a SSD probably, and I'll save it on that. That is my plan.
Now, is there a simpler way to transfer to SSD directly from on a day-to-day basis?
Of course, sir. So you can, SSD can be connected to a phone quite easily. It fits on the Type C, and the transfer is very fast. So it can be done on a daily basis also.
Yes. A second thing would be like, did you face any issues with auto exposure, auto focus during surgery? Because sometimes the eye will be moving around.
Right.
So here, I believe you'd be using the autofocus mode, right?
Right. So see, auto exposure and auto white balance, I found these two to be extremely helpful on the phone. Because white balance, I felt when I put it on auto, was giving me the best colors out of most natural colors, and even auto exposure. So anytime there's pooling on the conjunctiva, the exposure automatically goes down. As far as autofocus is concerned, I started on autofocus, but then I switched over to manual focus, because sometimes, if your forceps are, or some instrument is slightly higher and there's a slight decentration, the phone will tend to focus not on the eye, but on that instrument. So now I keep it on a manual fixed focus, which is focused at, say, the iris plane. So I have removed autofocus, but I keep auto white balance and auto exposure on.
And lastly, what about the adapter which you are using?
So this adapter is one which is made by Microrec. It's a German company. And this was recently, even Saurabh sir has purchased one from ESCRS. So it's a very good adapter. The optics are very good. Beam splitter is my own beam splitter. It's a Zeiss beam splitter. It's only the adapter which is from MicroRec.
Because that is critical, right? The optics adapter also has to be very good.
So MicroRec has one of the best optics for the smartphone. In the last 2 years, whatever research I've done, it's quite good.
Then what is the cost of this adapter approximately?
So we got it. If you buy it from the company itself, the adapter costs about 1,60,000. But if it is sold in India by Biomedics, so they are selling it for 3 lakh plus, only the adapter, because of the customs and all. So Saurabh sir and Dr. Tanvi were with me, so they bought 2-3 of these adapters from the conference itself.
Hey, Saurabh, you can spare me 1 year. I missed out on that. I was there in ESCRS, you didn't tell me.
One more thing, the S for Ultra you're using it has got a quite a big screen. So I was just seeing the video and it is hanging on that adapter. So ergonomically, is it okay? Do you get space or your hand sometimes touches the lower end of the phone? Is that the case?
It may touch, sir. It may touch, but then you can always put the adapter on the other side. But it's just a matter of getting used to it. It does come in the way slightly, but then it's something to get used to.
And have you have any experience or have you seen these recordings in a low light condition, like anterior segment recording is using the microscope light, which is a high light environment. In a vitreous surgery, we use the endolight as a light source and it's a low light condition. So the medical grade cameras have those sensors which are backlit like CMOS. So how does it work in those surgeries? Have you any experience about that?
Yes, I have seen so not the MicroRec adapter, but a similar one Indian made is also there. So I have sent it to few colleagues who have tested it out for retina surgeries, and it looks very nice. I can send those surgery recordings to you. It works fine for retina also with the endo illuminator light.
Excellent videos.
So the smartphone, I think it does some processing for low light for the videos. It does post processing, which makes the illumination better. Saurabh sir, are you there? Any comments from Nilesh or Digvijay sir? Okay. So we'll move on from anterior segment with the microscope. We'll move on to oculoplasty. So Akshay Nair sir is here. Yeah.
So
Hi, sir.
let me just introduce Dr. Akshay before you move on. So Dr. Akshay sir needs no introduction. So sir he's pursued his fellowship in oculoplastic surgery and ocular oncology from LUPI Hyderabad in 2012. He's done his DNB from Sankran, Italy in 2009. And he's done his fellowship in orbital surgery and oculoplasty surgery from New York Eye and Ear Infirmary of Mount Sinai, USA. So he's got 120 plus published peer-reviewed Medline PubMed index papers, 20 book chapters. He's a reviewer for 40 plus journals, and his plethora of awards and honors to his credits and a lot of positions. From 2018 to 2024, he's an executive member, committee and editor of the website, the Oculoplastic Association of India. He's also been a member executive committee for the YOSI, and he's been the editor for the newsletter of the Asia Pacific Society of the Plastic Reconstructive Surgery. And he was also the executive committee member of the AP Sopris, and he's also the member and on the editorial board of the AAO One Network, Orbit and Oculoplastics. So Dr. Akshay, hi, thank you so much for agreeing to be on board. Do you want to present your own presentation? Do you want me to play the video?
I think I'll run my presentation. The conference is done. I'm back. So
yes.
Good to have you live, sir.
Yeah. Let me find my presentation screen. Just give me 1 second. Right. Okay. Okay. All right. So my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I'll, from the anterior segment, and I just realized how much similar anterior segment. I think in general the principles of photography and documentation are more or less the same. So while we'll be talking more out of the eye. I think in oculoplasty per se, the need for standardization is more important because their purpose for clicking pictures is to present, to teach, to plan beforehand, and also to show patients what their ideal result would be, say for a patient with ptosis. Now, you don't want the before photo to be clicked with flash and the after photo to be clicked in a dark area with the area of focus being different. So basically, if you have a standardization of every photograph, no matter which photo it is, a pre-op or a post-op, they're all going to look the same. And that will help in very good objective uh, comparison. And if you see in plastic surgery, you've got actually good guidelines for rhinoplasty, for breast augmentation, for tummy tucks. All of these specialists have got very clear guidelines on how to click. And the key is to have consistency, to use the same camera with the same lens, the same magnification, illumination, the same patient position with the background. And then if you do that, everything else falls into place. I've written about this extensively. One important article that I'll point out to that you could go back and pick out is the principles and practice of external digital photography in IGO, the top left one, that also has a detailed consent form, which I think is very important to have. Now, sometimes people send you pictures like this saying, hey, what is this? Or see my post-op or see this pre-op. And you can see some of them are zoomed in, some of them are dark, some of them have a flash, some of them are blurred. But that's not the way photographs should be. I should ideally be like this. Now, the gentleman on the left, the two pictures above and beyond, above and before, the one below, are clicked 2 months apart. But everything in both those two photographs is exactly the same. And that's how standardization will help you in an objective comparison. At the outset, I'm a little old school for oculoplastic photographs. It's best to use a camera with a lens, not a phone. If you have the space to put on a tripod and either a diffuse flash box, those soft boxes are the ones that you see in the photo studio when they click your passport size photo. They're not that expensive. They cost a little more than 4,000 rupees. So if you can get one of those in your examination room, then it's a permanent investment which works very well for good photographs. So have a background which is either gray or blue. And many times we don't have the ability to create a small little photo studio like this, and we end up clicking pictures of the patients on the examination chair. That also works very well as long as the illumination is on the patient. So we can use the overhead light if you are using, the slit lamp chair. Very often, the overhead lamp in our slit lamp will not even have a bulb. So first thing is to go there and put a bulb that works, and then start clicking pictures. So one thing that I found very useful is to have this kind of a roll down background before the patient leaves.
Yeah, can everyone just mute themselves except Akshay sir? Can everyone mute their mics, please?
Yes.
Krishna, can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay.
Numerotech can be
Yeah,
on.
Numerotech just mute everyone.
Roll down. This just before the patient leaves the room, you always have the patient to sit there. The stool marks the spot where you're going to have the patient sit. So distance between you and the patient and the background is then fixed. So when you click a frontal photograph, make sure that there is this line called the Frankfurt plane, the line that goes through the external auditory meatus and the inferior orbital rim. Make sure this is horizontal at 0 degrees so that there's no tilt of the head and only the eyes are in focus. Sometimes you may not be able to get the inferior orbital rim in a lot of unusual cases. So you can use the grid lines that come up on your screen to make sure the patient's head is horizontal. When you click a lateral view, make sure you rotate the patient laterally and don't ask the patient to just move their neck. Similarly, in oblique view, now, in a case like this, where there's an internal angular dermoid, a frontal photograph may not be enough. So therefore, you need to click this view. So before any eyelid or orbital surgery, make sure you've got your 5 views clicked. And then when you're focusing on specialized things like proptosis. Now, this is a patient who had an orbital tumor in the left eye. See the before and the after. You can see that the proptosis has reduced. In fact, he has now a little enophthalmos. But by again keeping everything same in the before and after, you've got two standardized comparable photographs. When you click a worm's eye view, the focus should be on the cornea or the globe, not on the nose. And the nose, the tip of the nose should lie in the region between the two eyebrows. This is a good worm's eye view photograph. And of course, motility, of it comes in, it's in the squint strabismus section. But when you click pictures of motility with the patient looking down, make sure you lift up the eyes so that you can actually track the movement of the cornea and document the motility completely. Again, standardization facilitates good comparison. This is a patient with ptosis. This is a patient before prosthesis was put in. Again, all these photographs are only with consent and consent to publish and present. So you need to be very particular about it. And standardization helps you give these wow results. But more importantly, academic plagiarism is a real sad thing that happens. So, make sure you put some watermarks on your image so that others don't end up using them. And make sure the watermark is translucent and doesn't take away from the picture itself, because sometimes the letters that people write across their photos becomes very distracting. You can also highlight with before and after captions, use arrows to focus on what was treated, what was operated, and not just for lids, even on the surface. This is a venolymphatic malformation, 3 sessions of sclerotherapy. You can document again everything, including the position of the fingers, the splaying of the eyelids, and the location where the patient is asked to look is the same. So you can show the effect of the treatment. And of course, then when you click pictures in a good way, you can use these tools that you have for presenting on social media to show the effect of what an under eye bag or a blepharoplasty surgery looks like. The bags have completely gone, and you're able to superimpose the two images to get a good, kind of an outcome. So sometimes you also need to click pictures of CT scans and MRIs. And ideally, if you have the CD, you can just take these copies and images from the DICOM viewer or the software. But we are a little old school sometimes, and we get films. So we need to click it from the film itself rather than the computer. Don't use a flash and have sturdy hands. So preferably, if you can again mount it on an X-ray lobby or a viewer without a flash, with steady hands, you can click them. So you get good pictures. But again, when you present them, you need to block out the details such that you don't have the patient's name, the diagnostic center, the date, etc. So you get only the patient's pictures, the imaging. In macro photography, when you're clicking tumors, etc., you can zoom in. There is a macro mode, which is indicated with the symbol of a flower. That allows you to go really close. Your phones also for macro mode can be used. Have a scale and make sure that there's not much blood or gauze on the table so that you get a good uniform background. This, again, I think Zen has already covered this. These are pictures through the slit lamp. On the iPhone especially, I like if you go on the portrait mode at 1x, you're able to shoot these photographs very well. Now, for intraoperative photography, try to click pictures from a point of view where the person is not obtrusive and coming into the way of the surgeon or the surgeon's hands, such that you can click discreetly. Again, use a flash when you're clicking intraoperative photos so they're not blurred like the one on the left. And finally, a few words on videography. You've got different ways. Some hospitals have these lights that have cameras, but that doesn't work for oculoplastics. We tried using a GoPro, but unfortunately, the zoom is not good enough. And as surgeons, we end up, moving our head. So the GoPro along with our head moves. So you end up catching, you are looking at the table, you're looking at your assistant, and those things end up coming in. So what I use now regularly is a flexible tripod, also known as a Gorilla Pod. Now, this is a Gorilla Pod that's available. You can mount a Handycam or a DSLR on it, or even a mobile phone if you want to, on an IV stand just by the side of it. Or you could even use a tripod to keep it on the side. But I prefer to use it because the head on top allows you to rotate that ball in 360 degrees. So you can pivot really down. This is available for as little as 200, and the top end ones are for 5,000. Once you get a good 3-point fixation of this, you can wrap it around anywhere and it doesn't fall off. So, for example, this is a patient who's been taken up for ptosis surgery. Now you can see very completely besides the surgeon's bed, not in the view of the assistant or the surgeon. The video is being recorded. The area of interest is the eyelid, and the surgeon can go ahead continuing. It's a good idea to have an assistant look at the screen just to tell you if your hands are coming in the way or something else needs to be adjusted. And the surgical video does come out really well. You can see the focus is good. You can even identify each of the small structures. That's the levator being pulled down in a ptosis surgery. So the crispness of this comes in very well. The only problem that can sometimes come in is if you're using an LED light, the flicker of the light gets captured. The way to circumvent that is to change the frames per second setting on your handycam such that it doesn't coincide with the flicker rate of the LED light. Choosing a camera, I think any camera or you've got that has more than 12 megapixels is good enough. If you're using a DSLR, have a fixed a fixed lens, a portrait lens that's either a 50 mm or a 35 mm. And if you're for a good video camera, now of course almost all handycams are full HD or 4K if you're able to spend a little more, and they work very well. So no particular recommendation for this. Consent, I'm going to skip. Like I said, this is the consent form in the paper that we published. This is exhaustive and also includes consent for publication and presentation. So it's a good idea to use this or paraphrase this into your consent form when you get them to sign. Archiving should be done frequently. I do it weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, so that you transfer the image onto either a cloud or a hard disk, and make sure your hard disk and your camera are in different places. You don't want to lose the bag and end up losing the backup as well. Patients are now being more comfortable when you use a mobile phone for clinical photography also. However, my main issue is with mobile phones, you're unable to do standardization. So you don't end up getting as good photos as you should. So to summarize, get a consent and let the patient know why you're clicking photograph. Make sure that the location, the illumination always remains consistent. Do frequent backups. Be polite, thank the patient, and always remember the patient has a right to refuse to get photographed. And remember that should not change the quality of care that you offer. I think that's all that I have to share for today.
Thank you so much, Akshay sir. Very exhaustive and comprehensive on external photography and videography. So I would like to ask panelists, Deepak sir, Vishal sir, if you have some comments related to this.
Well, external photography, I think Akshay is the boss. We really can't comment. So we'll take everything what he says. That's great. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Akshay, excellent presentation. Just one question. Do the patients infrequently ask you to get a copy of that video they're operated upon? And what is your take on
Absolutely.
that?
A lot of patients end up seeing YouTube and come and say, "Sir, mera bhi video lagega kya YouTube pe?" So sometimes they ask. Of course, I don't share the video because I don't think it's the patient has any right over the video.
Exactly.
Photographs, yes, they do ask, and if the outcome is good, I share it with them.
Good one.
So Akshay sir, which camera are you using specifically for external photography?
So I use a Nikon D5300. It's a 5-year-old DSLR.
Okay.
But it does the job. It's a workhorse. And nowadays, of course, SLRs also have the capacity to video record, but they have a limited capacity, and those memory gets really filled up really fast with these high size. The video size in those of the video files is very large. So just a simple DSLR, and nowadays DSLRs, you even have some cameras that they call prosumer cameras, which is the bridge between professional and a regular consumer, which has great macro and close-up zoom facilities, but you don't need to detach lenses, etc. So those bridge cameras also work extremely well.
So I want to know, why did you say that you cannot standardize on a smartphone?
So the thing with standardization on a smartphone is that most smartphones usually shoot on auto mode. So if it's a rainy day or a dark day, or you're shooting in the evening with your clinic light on, automatically it will optimize for that. Whereas if it is in the morning that the patient has come, the windows are open, it'll change that. So you will end up having to go back and do post-production, so that you get the tone, the color, the brightness, and everything right. Whereas in a DSLR, you have the ability to do that while you click the photograph and immediately change it. So, and also small things like, say, for example, a 50 mm lens that you're using, that is going to work for a crisp focus only at a particular distance. So that distance is standardized. A fixed 50 mm lens will not let you zoom in or zoom out. So that way, the patient's the area field of interest that you're going to click is going to remain the same. So using a camera with a fixed lens facilitates this standardization, whereas a mobile phone gives you versatility, which may not be something that you want when you're clicking standardized photographs.
Okay.
We can standardize the room if we have, like in our OPD rooms, we have these blinders. So
Yeah,
if that's
absolutely, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you are taking that worm's eye view, okay, so would it so happen that the focus may come on the nose instead of the eye?
Absolutely.
And how would you make sure that the eye is focused?
Yeah. So if it's in an autofocus mode, which means in your screen, you will see a small rectangle in the center.
Okay.
So you have to change that
So
to
you
manual
will click
focus.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and you move that box around and then shoot that. And worm's eye view is tricky because sometimes you really have to go down, but it's good to ask the patient to bend their neck up and look up.
Right. Thank you. A lot of things, to learn on external photography. Anyways, I'll definitely read that paper. So now we'll move ahead. Dr. Nupur, you can introduce our influencer for tonight, Dr. Ashish Markan, who's going to be speaking on archive, indexing and archiving, right? Surgical video recordings.
So before we move on to Dr. Ashish, let me thank Dr. Akshay sir. Videos are something to go to. When I go to my OT for oculoplasty, I watch his videos so many times to, So, that's the quality of his videos and the kind of work that he's doing. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. And I know you're joining us from Isopolis, right? You are there. And thank you for taking out time and joining us. It's so good to have you. And always we look up to you for being our mentor. Thank you so much, Dr. Akshay. And that was a wonderful talk. So thank you once again. So moving on to our next presenter for tonight, the influencer.
It's a
So we have Dr. Ashish. So Dr. Ashish is a retina specialist he's currently based at I7 Hospital in Delhi. So he's done his MD from AIMS and FRCS from Glasgow, FICO UK, and his academic contributions are quite significant with 50 plus scientific publications in esteemed international journals and presentations at numerous national and international conferences. His research has been supported by prestigious international travel grants, including from SERB, CSIR, Malaysian Ophthalmology Society. So in addition to his clinical and academic roles, he's actively engaged in medical education through social media. And he maintains a proper Instagram channel, which is @your_retina_doctor with over 66,000 followers. And we can vouch for that, any Instagram related event that you have, he ends up winning it, based on his popularity. And he has been recognized for his social media influencer awards, such as the Bio Influencer of the Year award at APAO Bali 2024 and at YOSICon 2024. He's got a lot of other awards and achievements in ophthalmology to his credit. The list is over for you to see. So welcome, Dr. Ashish, and over to you, Dr. Zain and Dr. Ashish.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur, for the kind introduction. And thank you, Dr. Zain, for giving me an opportunity. I'm not well today. I'm running down with fever, so my voice might break in between. But so here I am presenting.
No issues. You are well heard. You can be slightly soft also.
So I'll be, so my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
So I'll be talking about the video editing softwares and the art of surgical video editing. So the first question is, why is video editing crucial in today's scenario? So there are basically 4 aspects you see. Firstly, if you edit a video, it will enhance your communication because it is like a visual storytelling with a lot of clarity and precision. Second, you're able to educate and train your juniors as well as peers. Third, you'll be able to document and review your cases. So it is something like a performance analysis. And fourth, which I feel is most important, is public awareness and communication. So you see there are multiple video editing softwares which are available, and most of them are on a subscription. So they might range from a basic software to a professional one, and there are various semi-professional softwares as well. So whenever you are taking a subscription for a video editing software, there are few key features which you must look into. So it must have all the editing tools which you require, should have transition and other effects. You'll be able to edit an audio, you can do a color correction, and you have multiple export options like different formats, different resolutions, and different bit rates. So my personal favorite is Filmora. That is the software which I use to edit my surgical videos. So that, but I have no financial interest in this software, and I'll be presenting the next of the slides using this software, and I'll be telling how one can edit a surgical video stepwise. So this is how the software looks like. So this is the Wondershare Filmora. So you can actually create a project. So what does the Filmora actually has to offer you? So you see there are multiple stock medias which you can use in your videos. Then you can add audios. There are these pre-loaded audios which you can use. Apart from that, you need to add a title. You can obviously do that. Then transition effects between various video clips. You can add these cool effects wherever you feel like. Then also the filters. Then there are these stickers which you can use to make your video more interactive, and also these templates which you can use either at the beginning or at the end of the surgical video. So you see, what is most important is that most of our surgeries are long surgeries, but whenever we are applying for a video competition, we get a limit, either like 3 minutes video, 6 minutes video, something like that. So we need to understand that how we need to actually edit this video. So just stepwise. So the first step is that you insert. So you see this is the window where you actually import your raw file, and here is the timeline. So the entire editing will happen on the timeline. Fine. So I'll just show stepwise how we do it. Just for the documentation or just for the presentation sake. So you import a video. So now there is this video which I've already edited, but just to show, I'll again edit it further. So this is a 6-minute video, and I have like imported it into the Wondershare. So now I drag it and bring it into the timeline. Now you can actually drag the timeline, and you can basically see the entire length of the video, and then you can move the slider and you can see what part of the video you actually need. So this is basically step one. So you actually import the video and shift it to the timeline. Now, second step is, as I've already told, that you need to be very precise. You have to be very selective. Whatever things you need to show, you have to choose those and then delete the junk sections. So now suppose this is a video, this was a complicated retinal surgery, and I plan to show 3 steps. I want to show ILM peeling, I want to show a removal of subretinal blood, and how I did a PRP laser. So what I do is, now once the video is there in the timeline, I'll slide and I'll see where the ILM peeling step is done. So I'll drag the slider there. I click on the scissor button. So once I do that, you see it will create a cut here. Now for me, the front portion is the junk file. I'll delete that. Similarly, now the second step I want to show is that I want to show how I remove the subretinal blood in this case. So again, I'll drag it. So I'll see, I'll keep the selected portion separately. And then again, whatever the length of the video is. Okay, so here this is very short because this is already edited. But whatever the length of the video is, you select it similarly and you keep the desired sections. Now the last step, I suppose I want to show PRP. So again, I'll just cut and I'll delete the junk files. And then I'll drag all these clips together. So whatever gaps are there, you can actually select them and then you can delete them. So this is basically step 2. So you see, this is something like a very gross editing where whatever you want to show in your video, maybe from a 30-minute surgery, you have made it 10 minutes now. Now the further thing is, now you want to do a fine editing. You want to make it maybe 3 minutes or maybe 6 minutes. How you can do that? So for that, you basically need to adjust the speed. You need to be very selective, whatever part you want to show. So now suppose in this case, I want to highlight and I want to show my audience, this is an area of interest. I want to show how ILM peeling is done. So I can actually slow down, or I can increase the speed. So you right click on the clip, then you go into the speed. So you see, you select on the uniform speed. So basically you can mix match, you can play with all these tools. And so suppose I decrease the speed to 0.6. So now the video will be slowed, and the audience can interact or can see it more in a better way. So similarly, I do it for the second part, that is when I remove the subretinal blood. And if I want to increase the speed, so that would be highlighted by an orange icon. So here you see two clips are shortened, and one I have actually increased the speed. So now the next thing is I want to highlight something. So how do I do that? So you see there are various tools which are available. You can use these marks. So I selected an arrow. I want to show an area of island peel. So what you do is you select it and then you drag it onto the timeline wherever you want it. You can select the color, you can change the shape, you can change the position, you can rotate it. So you can do whatever you want to. So I want to show it at the end of the clip, so I place it there. Now next step is I want to basically merge the videos together, want to do it little fine editing. So that can be done by using these transition effects. Again, you can increase the length of the transition, you can decrease the length, you can shorten it, whatever you want to do. There are multiple. So in first case, I'm using a dissolve transition. In the other one, I'm using a fade transition. So that is up to you how you feel your video will look smooth, how the transition would look smooth. You can do that. So this is just to show what all features are there in a software. So now once this is done, now the next thing is I want to add a title. I want to show what all steps I am performing. So suppose in this case I want to do I am basically doing an internal limiting membrane peeling. So I go to the title, I drag it down on the timeline, and now I select it. So similarly, I want to add a title on the area where I'm doing subretinal blood removal. So once you go here, you actually can write whatever you want to. You can select the size, the color, the font, everything. You can change the position wherever you want to place it. So similarly for subretinal blood removal, I'll type. So basically you want to make your video more interactive for the audience. You want to keep them engaged. So you keep writing, you keep using some effects. You can use various animated effects, how this transition comes in, how these text comes in. So that way the audience will remain engaged. Next thing is using these interactive stickers. Suppose now I want to ask the audience that how do I remove the subretinal blood? So I put this sticker here. So you see all these softwares will have multiple stickers, will have multiple effects. You need to play with these softwares. You need to see what suits you best, what suits your video best, and then you can use them. So once this is done, so this is almost the end of the video editing. Now the next step is that you want to add a music. So now audios, already all of these softwares, they have a preloaded audios. You can use that. You want to put something else, you can always download it and import it into the audio section of the software. Now, once this is also done, now most of these surgical video competitions, they'll always demand a voiceover. So for that, you go and click on this mic option. So once you click here, this is something how it looks like. So you can actually click on this red button and you can start recording. So it is always a good idea, once you complete the entire editing, then you start giving the voiceover, so that now you need not cut paste, or you need not change your voice, need not do changes in the audio section. So now once this is done, you can import it wherever you want to and put it in that video slide. Now the last step is you basically want to export it. So it is usually present in the Wondershare on the upper right corner. So if you have a subscription, obviously you will not get a watermark, but if you do not have a subscription, you'll get a watermark. And then once you go to export, you will have these multiple options. You can change the format, you can change the quality, the resolution, the frame rate, anything, whatever you want to do. And then you export it into the desired section on your desktop or whichever folder you want to. So this is how you basically edit a video stepwise. And just to end, the take home message is that you always need to keep it short and simple and just highlight the key points and avoid adding any unnecessary text and any flashy transition effects. Thank you.
Dr. Ashish, that was excellent. Like, a very good guide for showing step by step how a surgical video has to be edited. And
Thank you.
I would like the panelists also to comment on this, and which is their preferred video editor, and if they can add some comments or some tips related to the video editing part. Deepak sir, are you there?
Hi, sir. So, hi, Ashish. It was really nice.
Oh, hi.
Actually, I also use Wondershare Filmora only, and it was like a deja vu. Exactly the workflow that I do, except that he deletes as he goes. What I do is I watch my entire video. I keep slicing in between, and at the end, then I start deleting. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it has been counterproductive. Also, I deleted the part that I wanted to keep and kept the part that I had to delete. So, but really nice. I have started learning this DaVinci Resolve because I got a Blackmagic, so I got that full studio version. I have seen Deepak sir and Saurabh sir both using that for color correction, but it has been 3-4 months. I am not getting the hang of it, so looking forward to sir's comment on how we can do that.
No, I used both Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve. Of course, the Resolve is much more complex and little bit complicated to learn. But YouTube is there to learn. I learned via the YouTube only. So you just have to spend a little bit, few more hours just watching the tutorials of Resolve and you learn it. Initially, the editing module of the DaVinci Resolve was not great. But now they have made it very user friendly. It's just a matter of spending few hours and you'll be good to go.
Yes, sir. Actually, because this version 19 of Studio Resolve that has come out right now, it is AI capable. So most of the work now we can give text prompts and do. So that's why my interest again came back. So it has.
Honestly speaking, I haven't used that part of it. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't used the AI part of it. Still, you're doing manual only. Nothing has changed. So
Yes, sir.
I haven't learned that part of it.
So
But I think that the take home message would be whatever editing platform you use, the ultimate end product, you should not lose the resolution from what you began the footage with. Most of these semi-professional or consumer grade platforms, the eventual output file which we get, we lose the quality there. So that we should not happen. See, all of them do the same function. That's not an issue at all. Cutting, transition, and zooming in, zooming out, slowing speed. It's a common feature in everything. So whatever thing is, whatever file you have originally, we should actually enhance the output a little bit better, but not reduce the quality. So most beginner people, what they do is they buy or use a free software which is available. But over a period of time when we edit, the output will be much more worse than the original master footage which you have. So be careful on that aspect. Okay? That you shouldn't compromise on. And that is not stressed upon. Ultimately, whatever editing you do, your quality of the output should be better and worth. It is very crisp and should be sharp enough. That you shouldn't be a compromise.
yes,
So,
rightly.
so when you choose a software, ensure that there will be settings which ensure that you choose the best possible output which is possible from that software, and always compare with that your original footage.
Yes, rightly said, and you also pointed out a very nice point that the original raw file also should be in high quality. So you can't record in say 720p or 1080 and then expect that software will do it a 4K video.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you what, 80% of your quality of the film is going to be on your original footage. Only 15% can be tweaked by your this thing and all those things, your software, brightness, contrast, and all those things. Otherwise, 80% is how you shoot it. That's what it matters.
Yes.
So does frame rate actually matter? So if the software is reducing the frame rate from the original, or does that degrade the quality also?
No, you cannot reduce the frame rate. Whatever you shot, you should always stick out to the frame rate when you're choosing when you're transferring your file to your editing platform. You shouldn't change it. If you change it, it messes up. Suppose you're shot at 25p and you're editing at 24p, that is permissible. But suppose if you're shot at 25p and you want to export it at 50p, that won't work well.
Right.
Other way around as well. Okay, other way and also the frame rate is different. Remember that frame rate has to be the same as what you shot originally with. If you shot 50p, then your editing also is better to be 50p itself. Only the slow motion part, if you slow down to 25p, it becomes much more graceful when from a 50p to 25p. On the contrary, you cannot 25p to you cannot enlarge it to 50p. It's not possible. Cannot be done. It becomes very jerky. So the first dictum is ensure that when you start your project for editing, the first dictum should be whatever original frame rate is there, you have to ensure that the frame rate is same.
Yes, sir. So just because I use Filmora and in Filmora, when you import the first video, it says that the project setting to match to the original media. So always click yes on that.
Yes. Always click that. So in DaVinci Resolve also it will usually in DaVinci Resolve it is set at 24p. So suppose at 25p, you can say always ask them to match the your project frame rate should match the original file frame rate. You shouldn't change that. That is a basic rule.
Right. Thank you, sir, for your tips. And yeah, Nupur.
So I have a question. I'm not a very professional video editor. I've just started, So from all of you, if I, as a beginner, getting into video editing, I have to invest into a video editor, then which is the one, as an investment? Maybe I'm not looking to spend too much, but also to have a good quality. Which video editor would you recommend?
Deepak, sir, you can probably take that.
I don't know. If you are an Apple user, the
Not an Apple user. Yeah.
iMovie comes as a built-in. So that is the best free software to use it. Otherwise, I think, I don't have experience with Filmora. I think you can start with Filmora. It has a free version as well as a paid version. It is much more user-friendly, I guess. To begin with, you can just try that and then you can take a call. Okay?
Filmora, I will suggest, because if you are using Windows, then Filmora will be better.
Yeah.
The Apple platform of Filmora is like much costlier than what it is in Windows. And I would suggest you can they have annual plans, and then they have this one-time buy. So annual thing is, I think, 1,400, 1,500 per year. So that you can start. It's very cheap to start with. If you feel that it's really good, then you can just buy the full subscription, so that is for lifetime.
Yeah,
And
so
also,
even
please check the computer requirements which is there for that particular software. So you shouldn't buy a software where the computer needs upgradation. That shouldn't be the case. Okay. For example, if you buy a DaVinci Resolve, it requires a slightly higher spec computer. It needs a very good graphic card and all those things. So I think you just study these and then start.
Also, I wanted to ask Ashish. So for the voiceover, Ashish, if you're or anybody can answer. So when you do a voiceover, so I remember during LVP, when they used to do this video editings, they had a proper soundproof room for having a voiceover. So is that needed? I mean, how do you cancel the background noise? I mean, how
So
do you make it?
now, see, firstly, you actually need to use a mic. I feel that enhances the audio quality. When you record, you use a mic. And these mics nowadays, which the mic I use, little costlier one, but it also has this denoise option. So it will actually reduce the background noise. It will look like that you are sitting in a soundproof room and then you are recording. Also, these editing softwares also have a feature of denoise. So I think that works good. I'm not sure because I haven't tried the advanced software so much, but Filmora do have a denoise feature, and even your mics will have a denoise feature.
Sorry for such basic questions.
The Filmora denoise is actually quite bad. It
Yeah,
really
it
degrades the quality of voice.
degrades the quality of voice. What I use is there is a mono USB mic that comes around 5,000 with a boom arm. So it comes in front of you. It has a caroid profile. So what it does is it only catches the voice in front of you, not on the back. So if you are like moved away from AC and everything, no fan on the back, then it is just like working in a soundproof room. Make sure you record in the evening, like when there is no traffic and anything, and you just use that. I use it very frequently, and no issues are there with that.
Right.
And just to add, even now Instagram has also given a denoise feature if somebody wants to do a voiceover.
So Ashish, we'll take a separate webinar to learn about Instagram Reels from you.
Yes.
We cannot include it in this webinar. Probably another 1 hour session on that.
But what I wanted to say is, like, because the Instagram people actually, so the trend of reels is so much, the Instagram itself is also trying to inculcate all these editing features in the Instagram itself. So just from the denoise, I just got to know, like, I just remembered that few months back they've added this denoise feature.
Let's search, Nilesh. We have some international reel day, then we can have some social cultural webinar over it.
Anyway,
I'm sure they'll come out with one soon.
So we'll move on to the last talk for the day, and for the last talk we've got Dr. Hirika, who's it's my pleasure to introduce her. She's a very prolific video maker, and she's won multiple video awards. She's going to be talking about how to make a video. So Nupur, you can introduce her.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Ashish. That was a wonderful, overview of how to go about step-by-step video editing. I'm sure it will be very useful to all the young ophthalmologists. And our next speaker for today is Dr. Hirika Gosalia. So she's currently cornea and anterior segment fellow at LV Prasad Eye Institute, Hyderabad, since 2024 and ongoing. So she's completed her residence at Arvind Eye Hospital, Coimbatore. She's on the editorial board member for the TNOA, and she was the past executive member of the YOSI, and she's published 20 plus articles in various index journals. She's been awarded a lot of best IAJ publication papers in community ophthalmology, also the International Hero Award at AIOC in 2023. She also received the best video in resident training in section award at ESCRS 2022 Milan, and also the awarded the Captain Subramaniam Award for best video at TNOA. And she's got a lot of other awards to her credit. So over to you, Dr. Hirika, for your talk. Hi.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. I would like to thank YOSI for this opportunity. 1 minute, I'll just share my slides. Is it visible?
Yes, Dr. Hirika, yes.
Yeah. So I think most of it was covered by Dr. Ashish about the technicalities behind making these videos. So what I'll be talking about the content that would actually be required and what could make you win these awards at the various conferences that we attend. So first, talking about why presentation, videos, filmmaking is really important. So they mainly are important to present and convey our ideas, especially cases and studies and surgeries, in a way that people can actually visualize and understand, which we fail to really understand by reading or by just simply presenting in a very boring PowerPoint presentation. And the quality matters a lot because this high quality surgical videos can enhance our learning, showcase surgical skills, and contribute to professional recognition too, and can lead to increased visibility and career opportunities. So there are various steps that I'll be talking about. The first step is a topic and the script. This is a main content that really makes the video and would really be helpful to make it award winning too. So the content preparation, mainly it will start with planning the video objectives, determining what are the aspects of the surgery that are very crucial to highlight, talking about the storyboard, create a storyboard to outline the flow of the video, ensure that all the recording equipments that you are going to showcase in your video through the surgery video is in working order and suitable for the environment. Capture all the critical angles externally and through the operating microscope. Avoid obstructing the surgical field while you are recording. Use a high resolution camera to capture detailed imagery. Then also the narration and the commentary. The voiceover, it has to be really clear, informative, explaining the procedure and the key steps clearly. The script should be prepared well in advance. Even before you start the recording the video, you should know what you really want to showcase through your video. So it has to be a detailed script to ensure that you are conveying all the important information. So next are what I normally use is PowerPoint or even Keynote. And there are many other applications like Apple iMovies. So in editing, mainly there are many free editing softwares also, which I think has been discussed. And it is important that you trim unnecessary footage to keep the video focused and engaging. You can even add annotations and labels to highlight any specific techniques or instruments. And you have to ensure that you have patient consents that are obtained beforehand, and also avoid revealing the patient identities and sensitive information. So the third is templates. So there are many free PowerPoint templates that you can find online, like Slide Model, and there are few that even Microsoft is offering. I really like SlidesGo. I've used that many a times. And there are many other free templates that are available, which you can use as a base for your video or presentation. And probably then you just so there are these themes that you can use, and then maybe you can make your video or your presentation go around those themes. Like you can take up a war theme for something like a complicated cataract, that how you operated it and tackled the complication, or you take up like a comic style infographics theme, like showcasing something very funny or talking about some situation between the patient and the doctor, or like multiple such themes can be taken up from online, and then probably you can take that transition into your video. So then also you can make your presentation of video even more catchy by using different kind of fonts that are available online. There are dafont.coms. You can download all these fonts online and use them in your PowerPoint presentation and then convert them into a video. And they can make your video look very catchy when you want to really like just look at all these different kind of fonts that I've used previously, and you can really highlight few points and just make it look a little more creative and a little more attractive for people to really focus on what you're trying to show on the screen. So next is images and clip art. So if you really want to, just make it little more not little, like if you want to convey something really informative and not make it look boring, you can use these gifs that are there, or you can show clip arts, or you can, if you want to show about a clinical case about a patient, you can use clip arts or icons and show how the patient is, show emotion showing how the patient is suffering from pain or something like that. And image obviously, and these then obviously music. So there are many online free music, and you have to be careful that there are no copyrights that are getting could be a problem later. So you can find music which has no copyright issues, and that can be found on YouTube, on Ben Sound, and there are many other online free downloads. So in animations, mainly there's Morph, and then there's Magic Move, which is available on PowerPoint, Microsoft, and your Keynote. And there are various effects that you can use for animating your slides, and then you can make it move from up and down to side, or just make it appear, disappear, or fade. I think all of us are familiar with this. These are very simple things that I use. And then you can make use of transitions. All of this also can be used to show a few of your findings in all of these specialities. And then you use transitions to go from one slide to another, one frame to another, and you can make it again, you can morph it up, or you can fade it or push it to one side. So I think all of us are really familiar with this. I use very basic things to make the video. And so here I'll be giving so other video editing apps that are Camtasia, and then Apple iMovies and LumaFusion, where you can take on your. So what I do is mainly make the keynote and then convert it into a video. But there are other apps that can be used for movie editing. Next, I'll be talking about how you can just simply, so there's this case report that I'm going to show you, where there is this patient who's 58-year-old, who's male, who has these chief complaints and has this complaint since 2 years. He has no systemic illness. And then you can just make it all go in different directions. And then you talk about the features of the patient, and then you show the fundus image, and then how you can really show the specific feature or whatever sign you want to show, like, and we want to show the macular region and show the pallor. And I feel like these are very simple ways of really portraying what you're trying to say about the case report, rather than just putting them on text in your PowerPoint presentation. And then you can really zoom in your image or your OCT image and, outline the signs that you want to show, so that the audience really knows what you're talking about and what you're trying to show. So next is where do you submit? So get familiarize yourself with the submission guidelines way before you make it, because every conference has a different guideline. They have a different time limit. So you really need to know where you're submitting before you start a video, so that you can follow all the correct guidelines, so that you don't have to make changes later. Then you prepare a concise presentation of the video to accompany the submissions, to highlight the key features and the innovations. You also discuss what made this video stand out, including technical and creative aspects. So few tips for success, I would say, is choose a topic or surgical video portraying a rare or uncommon finding, an innovative or new technique, or an easier way of managing a complication. And choose a very catchy title to the video to make a storyline. Then choose a very appropriate background soundtrack correlating with the complication in the surgery video to make it entertaining and keep the audience captivated. And always end it with a special takeaway message, or a set take-home message for the audience. So thank you. I would like to thank YOSI for this opportunity.
Thank you, Hirika. That was a wonderful presentation. So, you've shown a lot of different things that can be done with video editing. I think sky is the limit, when you're planning or to make a video for an award. But I think you've touched upon some of the basic principles. I think script making is really important. You sit down and decide from first only what you want to do. And Deepak sir, I hope you're still there. And he's, also someone who really is won a lot of awards for his videos. So, sir, what would you like to say about making, your tips for making an award-winning video or these small things? Now we move away from the editing part to these small things which actually help highlight parts and, make the award-winning video. So, any tips you would like to give?
I think it has been covered very well by Dr. Hirika. And maybe see, ultimately what catches the attention of the judges is how different is your presentation. Of course, the most important concept here is, whether how innovative is your concept is. That is the standing part. The first highest points always given to the idea. The idea scores a lot. And if you have a great idea, but the presentation is poor, then you will lose a lot of marks on that. So you have to have a great idea, and then you have to find ways to make it present in a better way. So the idea always is the first big thing. And then you can build on it how to make it, how to tell the story in a better way. Basically, it's a storytelling, and you have to make it very interesting and engaging. That should be the thing. So my mantra here would be like, you should divide the film into 3 parts. The main introduction and the climax. Center is the body. Okay. The intro should introduce the problem which you are going to share, and what are the present concepts in handling this problem. And then the body should detail out what you're thinking about, how we're going to solve the problem. And then finally the complex, the conclusion. The conclusion of the climax part and the intro have to be visually very attractive. Okay. And that has to have because there is a chance that in the in-between section, the judges are going to go to sleep. So that is where you want to be engaging. But even if you're gone to sleep, then thump them and wake them during the climax. That should be the thing. Like, your intro and the climax have to be strong. It is just like that. And obviously, the most catching feature would be you have to have one outstanding visual out of it. That has to be that the judges should not forget for a few years. If that you have one visual in one case, that is going to definitely ensure that you're going to stay for long. So these are some of the common things which I work around.
Thank you, sir. Nilesh, you want to add something?
No, actually, I don't like during the video editing. I actually don't plan the storyboard. I record all my videos and then some ideas stuck, and then I just go in the archive and pull it back. And I want to learn because I'm not that organized to like create a storyline and everything. I just wanted to ask sir, what is his protocol for voiceover also? Sir, do you prepare a script and then do the voiceover, or you just go with the flow and give the
No,
voiceover?
see, if you're presenting for a conference and if you're presenting for a conference for a competition section, then definitely you have to write a script. Script has to be there. So first, what you have to do is first you write the script, assuming that you already have all the footage. See, there's a concept you want to tell, and you had a footage of 100 cases with you. But the minute is only 8 minutes for you to tell the story. There's only 8 minutes for you to tell the story. So first you write down a script, and you have to use the right sentences, right words, which make the right impact. You have to convey the best message in the shortest available sentence, so that you convey the entire message in that short 8 minutes. You don't have 3 hours there. So first you write down the script, whatever you want to showcase, and then you fix the visuals on that particular dialogues. It will be like that. Otherwise, what happens? You will have a 5-hour footage, and how are you going to cut down on whatever 8 minutes you want to have? So first you have to decide what you want to tell. What is the story of your film? You write down the story of the film, and then edit your story to such a way that you have to finish your narration in 8 minutes with a strong opening and a strong closure. And then you fit the visuals along with it. It's not the other way around. Okay, it's not first you write down and then start shooting. You may not get those cases at all. First, you have a general thought what you're going to have. all the visuals are ready, but you can't fit in all the visuals there. You write a story down and then you voice over and say, okay, you have to finish in 8 minutes. Then accordingly, when you start editing your videos, try to fit the best frame, best clip in that particular dialogue, and then you have to finish.
I agree, so in my initial few videos, I used to work on the graphics and the video editing. And finally, when I would write the script, I would realize that it is going to 15, 16 minutes. And then editing from there becomes really difficult. So what Sir said is right. Even I follow that. Even if I have a concept in mind, I have videos, I'll write down a script first. I'll make sure that it is roughly around 8 minutes. And then only I will match the videos to fit that. If you go the other way around and write afterwards, then it becomes a mess. So that is something I've learned along the way also.
I'll try that in my next submission.
So Nupur, I think
Yeah.
we are done, and
Yeah.
I
I
thank.
think we have an idea with this relations and like how we are having RSTC have something like a VSTC, video skill transfer course at
We
YOSI.
have that in this AIOS. We have in
Acha.
like a skill transfer course. There's
Huh.
basic video editing and advanced video editing, and then OT setup, video recording also. So right this time, what we are doing is we are amalgamating everything into one course rather than having three courses, because people they come for OT recording and then don't know how to do that. And I hope I will be reaching to Deepak sir now and ask him to be one of the course director at the APAO, because in APAO AIOC we are trying to make it a big thing, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So thank you. That was such a wonderful session, Dr. Zain. Thank you to you and your entire BioTube team, all the speakers. We'll quickly move on to our next segment. I'll quickly rush through this. So we had also we celebrated the Youth Day International Youth Day in August, and YOSI celebrated this. The theme was how I can make a difference as a young ophthalmologist by harnessing the technology towards patient care or education. So our young ophthalmologists submitted these videos, and our judges were Dr. Aditya, Dr. Apurva, Dr. Prasanna. So we have two awards, one the judges' choice and one is the maximum number of Instagram likes. And this was coordinated by me and Dr. Anujit. Dr. Anujit is handling the YOSI Instagram, he takes care of that. So our judges, as I mentioned, Dr. Prasanna, so he's currently the Joint Secretary of YOSI, and he again needs no introduction. Lot of awards and honors to his credits. He is on the editorial board member of the video section of the IGO. He has a lot of scientific presentations to his credit. Then we have Dr. Aditya Sethi, who's a treasurer of the YOSI, and he's currently he's working. He has his own setup at Arunodaya Desert Eye Hospital, Gurgaon. Then we have Dr. Apurva, who's a YOSI executive member, and she again needs no introduction. So she's trained at MAMC Delhi. She's a lot of peer-reviewed publications, and she has a lot of awards and honors to her credit. And so our first participant was Dr. Megha, who's currently working at Arvind Eye Hospital. And I'll just quickly play her video for the.
The blind use smartphone?
Not sure. I never thought of it.
Various smartphone apps that are available for blind people.
that was Dr. Megha's wonderful video for the YOSI Youth Day. Then we have Dr. Rohit Gupta, and his video is as follows.
कैमरामैन जल्दी फोकस करो. कैमरामैन जल्दी फोकस करो.
Exclusive mix by DJ Hashim Mix.
So that was Dr. Rohit's innovative.
Cameraman, jaldi.
And then we have Dr. Sahiti Eriti. So she's currently a senior resident at AIMS Bibi Nagar, and here's her video.
Greetings everyone, myself Sahithi. Thank you Arvind sir for the information about new AI-driven smart annotation for retinal disease image labeling. It became difficult to develop because of vast patient data, less portability and long images loading time and ever-changing diseases schema. This led us to develop our own in-house image annotation tool as seen in the video. Adding in annotations for an image is pretty easy. View the image, magnify it, change the brightness, change the contrast as needed, click on the relevant option, choose the extra details, and the annotation will be saved. The analytics on the landing page shows the pending and completed images. The graph shows the maximum number of images stacked by the other users in real time and gave the daily target settings. These imaging datasets are generally in the range of 1000. For the deep AI learning and for faster image loading, we resize images into smaller sized thumbnails with a smaller memory footprint while still maintaining the visual quality. Deliverance the asynchronous capability of the browser and then to load just 1 but 3 images preemptively so that the grader doesn't need to wait for the next image to load. The initial interface was basic and evolved based on the grader feedback. It is now designed on a decision tree structure to render the nested subclassification and various extra options. On a binary system of referable or non-referable decision for the common retinal disease, and there is a color coding to decide between a normal light green cold zone and an abnormal red hot zone along with specific measurement of various biomarkers like in glaucoma. On the developer's end, we managed to Dockerize the entire application and deploy it using the Kubernetes platform. We have seen a total behavioral change where on the online tools, the grader used to work only on the weekends. But on our tool, we have a log users on all the days of the week. We wish to introduce more gamification level optimization to be used in telemedicine. With some minor tweaks, this tool can be easily adapted to work for other domains as well, such as anterior segment telemedicine, radiology, dermatology. Hopefully, very soon, it will be available on Google Play Store.
So that was Dr. Sahiti.
Greetings everyone, myself.
And then we have Dr. Veena Karkele. She's done a DNB ophthalmology. She's currently doing a fellowship in cataract phaco at KBHB Hospital, Parel, Mumbai. And here's a video. So that was Dr. And then we have Dr. Umang Malik. So he has done his DOMS and he's currently working as a senior resident at KBHB Hospital, Parel, Mumbai. So this is Dr. Umang Malik's video. And this shows a video of auto-evisceration of eye. This patient was a 90-year-old mentally retarded patient, which gives history of rubbing eyes constantly. And he's taken this on slit lamp with iPhone 12, and patient was having a cornea melt with the contents of eyeball, iris, and nucleus prolapsing outside the melt area. And this helps us to understand the consequences of cornea melt through which the video was taken. So with this, we have our judges. Prasanna, are you there? Okay, so I think Dr. Prasanna is busy. We'll quickly hear the judges' comments on, what was their take on the videos.
Thank you, the YOSI Governing Council and Nupur ma'am for this wonderful opportunity to have the privilege of judging all the 5 videos. Thank you, ma'am, for this initiative once again. You have been a great pillar of the socio-cultural team and all such novel and very different and eccentric activities which I used to be a part of it, and it's an honor to be on the other side this time as a judge. And all the 5 entries, be it how a blind person can use technology to literally see, or be it how you can use technology for AI or technology for capturing the fundus, the various fundus images as an IDO, as well as the dancing bag with the zonule just hanging on it and the auto evisceration. I enjoyed all the 5. They were all top quality. And like all of you, I am also waiting to see what are the results are, because we judges are also blinded. So, and it's only a matter of one or two marks that was different from each other. And all the 5 entries were top class. And thank you once again, Team YOSI, for this wonderful initiative, and Nupur ma'am for inviting me to have a go through of all these 5. It was such a honor and privilege. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Prasanna, one of our judges. Then Dr. Aditya. Aditya has joined. Okay, otherwise I'll just play his comments.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Aditya Sethi. I want to thank Nupur for allowing me to judge this competition. It was truly an honor. All the videos were so beautifully presented. They all followed the theme which was given to us, which was about YOS, harnessing the power of technology and making a difference. And I wish all the participants best of luck for the results. And I want to personally thank each and every one of them to being part of this competition. This is what YO stands for. YO is basically somebody who finds his way, makes a difference, and despite all barricades, comes up with a solution to a problem. And a lot of these videos suggested the same. And congratulations to each and every one of the participants, and it was a great honor seeing all your videos. And as you can see, the reactions on Instagram and the various social media portals, you've done a great job. Congratulations.
So that was Dr. Prasanna and Dr. Aditya. Apurva has joined. Okay, so Dr. Apurva also sends her best regards to all the participants. Any you've all seen the videos. Any guesses who has won the first prize, Nilesh? Among the videos, the YOSI Youth Day video. Any guess?
I was really inspired by the first video, so I think that needs to be the first one. But not to take away anything from the other 4 videos, they were also very great. I just want to put one point this, because we were on this artificial intelligence and Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes has actually collaborated with OpenAI. There is a video, and it's really inspiring what they are doing now with use of OpenAI. You just take your smartphone, put it in this upper pocket, and it sees the entire world for you and keeps telling you instant feedback. So people now, blind people, can actually call taxi. They know when to wave their hand to stop the taxi, because they will tell like the taxi is now 50 meters from you, just wave your hand and that will stop. When it stops, it tells that you go right and then open the door. So it has advanced that much. So Be My Eyes and OpenAI is really doing amazing work. It needs to be applauded.
Ryan, your thoughts? Who's the winner in this video?
No, all the videos were very good. I particularly like the one of the zonules. It was something going very well with the theme that you're using technology, because that is actually technology where you can zoom in with your phone and see that level of clarity. That is something that really inspires me a lot.
Okay, so let's look at the results with this. And yes, here we are. So the winners, so the judge's choice top video was Dr. Megha, the blind AI video, and the audience choice winner was Dr. Rohit Gupta, the smartphone funders photography. So Dr. Rohit had 221 likes to his upload on the Instagram. So congratulations to both the winners. Done a great job. Thank you to all the participants for a wonderful entry, and to all the judges, Dr. Prasanna, Dr. Apurva, and Dr. Aditya. So without further much ado, we would like to now move on to the winners of the photography contest. The very photography contest that we had. Any guesses again, Zain? I think you were there for the half of the contest. So,
So unfortunately, I missed the first part. Yeah, I attended the last 2, 3 maybe, but yeah, won't be fair to judge based on only what I've seen.
Yeah. Nilesh, you have Nilesh knows the.
I won't.
he
I
knows.
collected the marks, so I don't. I won't take a
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, we've gone way beyond time. We don't have other judges to comment. So I'll give out the prizes. So second prize, there's a tie between Dr. Aarti Hera and Dr. Simi. So Dr. Aarti Hera presented that eye, the shape of the eye, and Dr. Simi presented that jackfruit photo. So congratulations. And first prize is by Dr. Rohit Gupta for that mushroom and donut entry. So congratulations, Dr. Aarti, Dr. Simi, Dr. Rohit. We'll be, sending your prizes soon, and, we'll be couriering it to you. Same for the Youth Day. So with this, we almost come to the end of our, we're just at the end. So before we wrap up, any comments from Nilesh about judging the contest and about the, the YoTube session that we had?
I think everybody has echoed the same thing, that these webinars by socio-cultural team, they are with a difference. So very different from regular webinars, and they like ignite your mind to do something else apart from ophthalmology. So keep doing that, ma'am.
And
Keep
hats
inspiring
off to
us.
you, Nupur, for integrating ophthalmology so well into socio-cultural. You're doing a fantastic job, and
So the
keep
so the
the
next
mood and
webinar,
spirit high.
the next webinar, I could have never thought of the World Tourism Day being being brought into ophthalmology, but she has somehow done that. So hats
Only
off
thing
to
is
her.
our webinars tend to run a little long, but then that's okay.
There's no problem. See, people will always view part of it on YouTube later on. That is how most of, even if you talk about academic webinars, what I also watch, very rarely do you watch it at that time. But if it has something to offer, you'll definitely, catch it later. So I'm sure it'll be there now. I think Numerotech has taken over the responsibility of putting it on YoTube, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
they are
being
live
live
streaming it.
streamed also.
Live streamed, yeah.
Yes.
So
So the idea of the contest is also that, we want to give a chance to everyone to present. So today also we saw that, right from a first year PG to a consultant, everybody participating in the contest. So that's the whole idea, to give chance to more and more bios. So thank you, Dr. Zain and Dr. Nilesh. With this, yes, so few announcements. We have an interesting International Tourism Day webinar coming up. The entries are still open. We have a travel blog contest entry and travel in motion, a conference reel, contest, which is there. And we've already circulated the Google Forms, and we'll be having a very nice webinar. This is again in a collaboration with the conference travel and support group, which is headed by Dr. Rakhi. And the webinar will have talks about pertaining, basically focusing the international conferences for bios, why you should choose, how you can choose, how can you manage your itinerary, how can you manage the budget, so that would be something very interesting to look forward to. You can mark your date for that, 27th September, the World Tourism Day. Then we have our anniversary, the happy birthday of social cultural, coming up on 10th of October. We have the third season of YOSI Creativity Contest, from, how it began with Dr. Sonal's idea of having this socio-cultural group. So a very special event, especially for me. This would be our third season. So the theme this time is Love Your Eyes, Kids. So request buyers to send any sort of creative entries pertaining to this theme. It could be anything, there is no limit to the creativity that you can showcase in 2 minutes. And that's it. You can send in your entries. The last date for this is 29 September. And thank you, everyone. Thank you to our chief guest, Dr. Prashant sir and Dr. Devakant. Dr. Prashant sir for being with us, giving us those words of encouragement. Dr. Devakant for also always supporting us in all the endeavors. The President YOSI, Dr. Nilesh, who's the General Secretary YOSI, again giving all support. Thankful to Dr. Zayan, the YOTube team for curating the YOTube part of the webinar so well. It was so nice, and I'm sure so many young ophthalmologists will benefit. And I'm sure this is just one of many more to come. To all the participants of the ICI Everywhere contest, it was such a it was so interesting to have those entries with all your weird imaginations. It was so much fun. Thank you. Please, you keep participating in the future. Congratulations to all the winners. Winning is just a formality. All of you are winners in your own sense. Thank you so much to all our esteemed judges and panelists, Dr. Deepak sir, Dr. Saurabh sir, Dr. Vishal, Dr. Nilesh, Dr. Digvijay sir, for being with us through the contest and to the the video editing session, giving your valuable comments, encouraging the bios throughout. And I hope I'm not missing out on anybody in thanking. Thank you to the Youth Day contest participants, all the participants. Congratulations again to the winners, to our judges, Dr. Prasanna, Dr. Aditya, Dr. Apurva, for taking time out of their busy schedules and judging the contest. And this is our email ID of the socio-cultural. If you have any ideas, if you have any feedback to share with us, please do mail it to us, or you can get in touch with me directly. So with this, we end our session for tonight. And thank you so much. And Numrotech, we can just, end the live session, the live streaming.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur, Dr. Nilesh. It was a good session. And here's to many more.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
sir.
Bye.
Good night. Good
Bye,
night,
whoever
ma'am.
ma'am.
is there, we'll
Bye.
take a quick photo, You can
Yeah.
take a, Nilesh
You
will take.
can take a
Huh?
photo.
Okay, I'll just.
Aarti, if you're there, you can just switch on your video. Huh. Congratulations, Aarti. Dr. Simi, you're
Congratulations,
there?
ma'am.
Yeah,
Done.
done. Thank you. So we've gone for 3 hours with this webinar. So, yeah. ठीक है. Chalo. Thank you, Nilesh. Bye.